in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Welcome to it. Kind of a lot of stuff going on this morning.
It is a very busy Wednesday.
It is. Of course, Election Day was yesterday.
Yes.
The results are in. We have some incumbents and some new folks taking office here after last night's election. We'll get to that in just a second. But many people waking up.
That's how shocking the political landscape was shook. It literally moved the earth itself.
That's right. We had,
you've made a political impact when an earthquake happens after you get elected.
Yeah, some people may have noticed it. I was not one of them. I was informed first by Facebook, then my wife after because I woke up before she did. But so this morning I get up and I go and start my day, and I happen to get on the Facebook looking, and everyone's like, "Did you feel that earthquake about 3:30 this morning?" And I'm like, "No," and then I'm like, "I didn't feel anything," and I'm seeing more and more posts, and then I get up and
I had a friend tell me that there was one, like a small one last night about 10 o'clock.
Was there?
And then, yeah, the one from early this morning, I didn't feel it. I slept straight through it. My son, I think, felt it because he woke up and said he was scared. I was like, scared of what?
Yeah.
Go back to bed.
I finally saw my wife after, I got up and she was getting ready. I said, "Did you feel an earthquake last night?" She goes, "That's what that was?" She goes, "It was long." She goes, "I didn't realize." She goes, "That's why I didn't think it was an earthquake, because it was long." She goes, "I thought you were shaking the bed at first." And she goes, "I looked over at you. I was like, why are you shaking the bed?" And I looked, but you weren't moving. And then I'm like,
so wait a second. She didn't maybe think you might have been having a seizure and maybe get up
well,
and
I guess
try to
I wasn't
wake you?
moving, so it kind of blew the seat. Like the whole thing's moving, but I wasn't moving. It was, I guess, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't. I mean,
3:30 in the morning.
And my home is not exactly attached to Earth, so I would think if anybody would feel it, I would.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't feel it. Which leads me to think Californians are full of crap. I mean, honestly, you guys complain about earthquakes all the doggone time. If that's the word, because that was a 5 point something, like 5.6.
5.3. Well, here's what I saw. I got a notice, actually right before air here, seconds before air, saying that from my AccuWeather deal, saying that a 5.3 earthquake hit West Texas last night. And I was like, well, that's the reason why we were
5.2 near Eddy County.
Okay, this one said 5.3 in Texas.
Okay,
is what the AccuWeather said. It was West Texas is where it came from, is where we felt it.
Yeah, it's basically right there on the border. It's what it says. A magnitude 5.2 earthquake near Carlsbad, Eddy County, New Mexico, was reported 11 minutes ago by the United States Geological Survey, considered by key international and national agency monitors that monitor seismic activity in the U.S.
Yeah.
5.2, 5.3, that's still pretty significant. And honestly, didn't notice.
Well, and this is the second time I've slept through an earthquake. I slept through one in Maryland, too, that I didn't know about. That my wife and everybody, I was like, wow. And I was like, sleeping, didn't know. I did feel the one.
When we were here.
Well, there was one here, and then there was one at home.
Okay.
Like right around that, within a couple days of each other. And that was what? Was that early this year or last year?
That was last year.
It was last year.
Because I remember, the one that was, I guess you're saying a few days after, the one where we were here, I just remember feeling like my desk was like, rocking.
Yeah, I remember everything kind of like, whoa. But I remember a couple days later or before, I can't remember which, I was at home. And I was on the toilet. And it had happened. And that's when I was like, why is my shower moving? And I'm like, oh, wait, I'm in an earthquake.
Right.
I was on the toilet.
And you just thought you were moving earth.
Yeah, just like, wow, what did I eat?
This is one powerful movement. The last time I can go to the Longhorn.
Yeah, so that's the only time I've ever, those two times.
You should chew your food better, man.
Man, lay off the roughage. But so it was a surprise to me, and then but Kim, she was like, yeah, I had all this. So if you woke up and everyone's wondering what that was, it was an earthquake. We had one this morning about 3:30 or so, and just so it wasn't your husband, wasn't.
I hope nobody had like a serious medical incident during it, because like people would just chalk it up to, oh, it's just the earthquake.
Right.
No, he's having a heart attack.
Right.
You probably should still call an ambulance.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't. People saying it was long. I mean,
that's what my wife said. She said it went a long time.
Right.
And I was like, although seconds when you're dealing with something that you don't know what you're dealing with, time really starts slowing down. You know, you're kind of like, oh, and something that lasted 10 seconds felt like it lasted 2 minutes. You know what I mean? So
right.
Time could be, especially at 3:30 in the morning when you just got woken up out of a dead sleep for most of us. You're kind of like, hey, what happened? And your wits aren't always about you. So,
yep.
But we also had an election yesterday. In case you missed that part.
Not just earth-shattering or earthquaking earthquake. It was earthquaking political news as well.
And so here are the unofficial results yet. For City Council, Ward 1, Juan Oropesa retains his seat, defeating Guy Malone, 53% to 47% the votes there. A total of 637 votes cast for Ward 1, which these numbers are always low. I don't like those numbers. They should be way higher than that.
Well, 630,000 seems like a pretty good turnout.
637 people.
Yeah, 637,000 people. That's
no, people.
People. Yeah, that's dismal.
People in Ward 1. Ward 2, City Council. That seat was actually vacated. Jason Perry stepped down here a couple months ago, so that seat was vacated. Will Cavan has won that seat over Chris Hensley, 80% to 20%.
Wow.
1,357 total
Let's say if
votes.
signage around town means anything, then yeah, I figured Cavan was going to take it by a landslide.
Well, 1,357 votes in Ward 2, so almost double Ward 1. Ward 3, that was the Battle of the Matthews.
Oh, yeah.
Janine Best, who actually is going to join us on the show here in just a bit for the Chaves County Federated Republic, she decided not to run for that office again. So Matthew Chappell defeated Matthew Thomas, 64%, 36%, a total of 1,039 votes in Ward 3. Ward 4, we had a three-way race there for that seat between Daryl Johnston, Joseph Green, and Alicia Gilmore. Daryl Johnson won 41% to Joe Green's 38% and Alicia Gilmore's 21%. 931 total votes for Ward 4. And Ward 5, the incumbent Barry Foster fell to Carlos Marujo Jr., 82% to 18%.
Wow.
578 total votes in Ward 5.
That's quite the difference.
Yeah, but only 578 people.
Yeah.
Land-wise, that's one of the larger wards.
That's true.
Population, they're all roughly around the same, but that's a lot. That's a low turnout.
Yeah, that's my ward. So.
Is it? Yeah, that's a generally historically low turnout. Sorry. He's a historically low turnout ward, Ward 5, number-wise. Like, one year I saw an election, and I think there was 120 people that totally voted in that one year. And so people that say your vote no counts, oh, you're so wrong.
Especially in midterms, especially in these elections, every vote matters.
Yeah. Now, outside of Roswell here, a couple races. And I'll get to the judges here in a second, but it's kind of the way this is set up. The mayor for Dexter was an unopposed race. Mitchell Daubert ran unopposed and won. No challenge there. Counselor at large for Dexter, Justin Powell defeated Ron Chambers 57% to 43%, 155 total votes there for the counselor at large position in Dexter. Counselor at large in Hagerman, Julene Montez Dennis defeated Fred Davis III 58% to 42%, 71 total votes there for Hagerman.
Julie.
Counselor at large in Lake Arthur, we had a four-way race there between Marcella Paisana, Fred Chavarria, John Teal, and Harry Wesson. According to this, Marcelda Paisana defeated everyone 33%. Fred had 25%, John 20%, Harry 23% of the vote there. 110 total votes that cast in that councilor seat in Lake Arthur. Municipal judge races for Hagerman, unopposed there for Maria Ordonez. She retains the seat there. In Lake Arthur, Noreen Teal ran unopposed there, so she will be municipal judge. Noreen Teal's she worked for New Mexico Department of Workforce Connections. She was I talked to her on the radio for many years, given the Labor Department report. I didn't know she was running for judge. She's a judge now. Congratulations there. For the municipal judge here in Roswell, Joseph Seski defeated James Ornelas 54% to 46%, 4,525 total votes there. So that's basic, because that's everyone votes in Roswell on that one. So everyone saw that race on your ballot. Let's get to the school board races now. School board for District 2 here in Roswell. That was between Jared Ashby and Roberto Chavez. Ashby defeated Chavez 52% to 48%, 1,386 total votes cast for District 2 school board. School board for Roswell District 4. That was a three-way race between Sergio Jimenez, Andrew Graves, and Hilda Sanchez. And Hilda Sanchez, the incumbent, retained her seat, 45% of the vote to Sergio's 24%, and Andrew's 32%, 719 total votes cast for that race there. Moving on to Lake Arthur School Board, they had a contested race for one of their seats there, Edward Rubio Jr. versus Amanda Ladoza. And Edward defeated Amanda 56% to 44%, 85 total votes for that seat. For the Hagerman School Board, there was a three-way race for that seat. Destry Moss, Christopher Pilley, and Dusty Perry. Christopher Pilley won 41% of the vote to Destry's 31% and Dusty's 28%, 221 total votes cast in that race there. School board for Tatum Municipal School, they had a three-way race there. Veronica Lee Herrera, Daniel Palacios, and Christopher Stewart. Actually, I just saw they don't have results for that one on here. It still says 0%, so nothing to report there on this. And I'm just looking at the state's website here, the election results. So that's as official as I know. Dexter, they had a member-at-large school board, a 5-way race. Kelly Kobos came out on top, 27% of the vote. Linda Lopez was in second with 21% of the vote. And then you had Vanessa Sanders and James Salas each had 18% of the vote. And Andrea McGarra had 16% of the vote, 623 votes total there. And that's pretty, here we go. College Board, that was unopposed here for Eastern New Mexico, Roswell Ward 4, Ward 5. Soil and Water, those were all unopposed there on those races there. So, soil and water supervisor, landowner, Boyle Server Conservation Board. That was a 3-way race. Peyton Terry had 38% of the vote. David Craig had 38% of the vote. So they're tied.
Water supervisor sounds like a very powerful position.
It does. Probably very.
I control the water.
But you can see the rest of these races here. If you go to election results, what is this website? Actually, I found it. There's the link. If you go to the city's Facebook page, they have an unofficial results button. You click that tab, and it takes you to this. It gets a little tricky to navigate, so if you click home, and then there's a picture of the state, you click by county, just click the Chavez County. It's a lot easier to navigate if you do it that way. So, but that's the results we have so far for that here.
I think Joe Green's problem was not going by Mean Joe Green.
Yeah.
I thought that too as he was coming in to cut the tag for his spot. I was like, Mean Joe's on his way in.
He does have a built-in nickname there, yeah, but maybe it's trademarked.
You know, every time I drove by, specifically there was a sign at the corner of Union and I think College, a Sesky sign. Several times when I drove by that sign, he was outside, like next to his truck, talking to people.
I did
next
watch
to that sign.
Yeah, I saw him. I think it was over the weekend, or maybe last weekend. I don't remember. But he was out waving.
He was very active. Yeah. So
yeah, and I know a lot of city council and a lot of those positions. They'll go knocking doors and visit neighborhoods, and I don't get them because I'm hidden.
Yeah.
I think of all. I've lived there about 6 years now, and through all the election years, I think I've had one candidate.
That's maybe the best selling point of your house is you get to live in the Shire. No one comes here unless they mean to come here.
It is amazing to avoid solicitors.
Don't get a lot of Jehovah's Witnesses?
I do not.
I wouldn't think so.
Usually when someone knocks on my door now, it's usually somebody in the neighborhood, because my wife's a board member, complaining about something.
Right.
That's usually what it is. When the door knocks, I'm like,
go away, babe.
Who's complaining? My light's out at this thing here, and it's been out. What are you going to do about it? I don't know. Put a bulb in it. Takes 5 minutes. Anyway, there is a downside to that.
Yeah.
The downside is having anything delivered to your house.
Oh, that's true.
Whether it's Amazon, UPS, or DoorDash. It is usually a act of Congress to get things sent to my house.
I've driven past the entrance to your area, your zone, several times, not even seeing it. It's very like you have to be looking for that turn in.
I got my little bat cave. Yeah,
it kind of is. You're secluded.
My hobbit bat cave.
That's right. Just like Gandalf, I have to duck to get inside.
Yeah, I have a low entryway, and my wife is 4'11", and I'm 5'8" collectively, and we just slide right under that bad boy.
Mike and Kim are the proverbial two kids in a trench coat sneaking into a movie.
That's right. we come low and come at you low.
It's all right. Hard to knock them over though. They're like a weeble wobble.
That's right. Our center of gravity is so low.
On point.
Oh, man. Let me give you the rundown for today's show. Like I said just a few minutes ago, we're going to be joined by the ladies from the Chavez County Federated Republican Women. Next Wednesday, 1 week from today, actually, is their next meeting. And it is their Veterans Day Assembly meeting where they're honoring and inviting veterans to come out. And they're going to have guest speaker veterans. I know some of the speakers. And so that'll be next Wednesday. So we'll talk about that and get an update from the Chavez County Federated Republican Women here in just a few minutes. In the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, we're going to replay an interview. Yesterday, I had Christina Arnold, Ward 1 City Councilor, join me. Her and I were lucky enough to get a tour of the wastewater treatment plant earlier this week. Had a great conversation and got to see kind of how the sausage is made. So we talk a little bit about that and kind of give people just a little behind the scenes on that. So we'll play that for you in the 8 o'clock hour. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, about 9:15, Ted Smith with the Walker Aviation Museum joined us yesterday, give us an update on what they've got going on. And so we'll play that for you in the 9 o'clock hour this morning, about 9:15 or so there. Plus, we'll have all of your features that include the news of the local variety, the news of the national variety, your Wall Street business updates, sports reports, and whatever else we can come up with for today's show. Before we do any of that, though, let's go ahead and get you up to date on the weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. A warm day coming up, and then we cool off quite a bit on Thursday. Might even get a few showers with a low and cold front dropping in. We'll be in the mid-80s for the afternoon high today. Wind will be gusty around 30 miles an hour at times, and we have sunshine. Partly cloudy in mid-40s for the overnight hours, and then scattered showers on Thursday, cloudy and upper 50s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 69 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 25%. Winds, they are a little gusty right now. Out of the south at 16, gusting to 25 miles per hour. It's breezy. I don't know about that breezy, but it looks breezy. My weed tree's moving a little bit. For today, sunny and 84. Enjoy that. That's the last day of 80s for the next couple days. Winds will be out of the west, 5 to 10 this morning, 10 to 15 for this afternoon. Tonight, increasing clouds with an overnight low of 47 degrees, west winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. For your Thursday, a 40% chance of showers, mainly before 11. There's a 60% chance it won't rain, and here in Roswell, that's what I'd be betting on. But anyway, they're saying there's a chance. Also, skies will be cloudy, high of only 55 tomorrow. So we're going from 84 to 55 tomorrow. Winds will be out of the north at 10 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday night, there's a 40% chance for scattered showers, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 42, east winds 5 to 10. That's the good news, is we're not going to like 30 overnight low. It's cooler, but not like below freezing. So not so bad. Friday, there's a shot at some rain, 30% chance of showers and rain before 11. Mostly cloudy, high of 51 Friday. Winds will be out of the northeast, 5 to 10 miles per hour. You know why this is. It's Veterans Day. I told you this a week ago, or a couple weeks ago. It could be 80 degrees, but once Veterans Day hits, it's got to be chilly that morning. It's just some unwritten rule, and so no matter what, November 11th or there around it, it's going to be cold here in Roswell. Just mark your calendar. Friday night, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 35. For your Veterans Day Saturday, we will hit the 60s, mostly sunny, 63 for a high, but it'll be chillier than that Saturday morning. And then Sunday, back up to 65. Rain chances on Monday, 20%, but looks like we'll be floating in the low to mid 60s for the at least first half of next week. All right, 7:28. We're going to take a quick 2-minute break, 2.5-minute break, and then Janine Best will join us with the Chaves County Federated Republican Women, talking about their meeting 1 week from today. It's the Veterans one, which means we want more people there. We always want more people, but we want more people than we normally get at this one. So anyway, we'll talk about that next. Don't go away.
Asian Market brings the flavors of the East to Roswell. The market side has lots of new and different items, including new sauces and noodles to enhance your Asian dishes, plus new snacks and more. And the restaurant inside Asian Market has all Nook's favorites from 11 to 5, like wontons, egg drop, rice or noodle soup, crispy calamari, and the best barbecue fried rice in town. Dine in or call ahead for easy pickup. And find Asian Market on Facebook for updates on open times and specials.
Hi, this is Nok. Come see me at Asian Market, 5702 South Main in Roswell. Call 575-840-5309.
From morning runs to playing with grandkids, taking part in activities brings great joy to our lives, but it can also come with injuries. And for those in physically demanding jobs, the daily grind can wear on muscles, bones, and joints and lead to acute and long-term disorders. If you're suffering from an orthopedic injury, let our Artesia General Hospital specialists help. The sooner you address the root cause, the sooner you'll be back to living life in motion. Learn more at artesiageneral.com/orthopedics.
Are you ready to make a real difference in your community? Introducing the New Mexico Army National Guard. Serve your community with pride and become a part-time hero. Join our dedicated team and enjoy the adventure of a lifetime. Get full-time benefits without sacrificing your current career or education. When disaster strikes and your community needs assistance, you'll be there to lend a helping hand. So don't miss out on the opportunity to receive education, adventure, and financial stability, all while serving your country. Get started by calling 1-800-GO-GUARD.
Check out the pre-Thanksgiving savings you'll find this week at your local Farmers Country Market. Assorted boxes of Food Club cake mixes are 79 cents each, and select varieties of Betty Crocker brownie mix are 5 for $5. In produce, 2-pound bags of juicy mandarins are $2.79 each, and extra-large green seedless grapes are $1.99 a pound. In the meat department, Cook's Shake portion bone-in hams are $1.67 a pound, and all slices of Grade A honeysuckle white turkeys are $1.59 a pound. These are just some of the pre-Thanksgiving savings you'll find this week at your local Farmers Country Market.
Fall into savings this month at your locally owned and operated Big O Tires. Save up to $140 on select sets of tires after mail-in rebate, all with multiple financing options tailored to you. Let Big O Tires certified technicians help keep you and your family safe on the road this fall. Make an appointment online at bigotires.com or stop in today. Big O Tires, the team you trust.
It's possible to turn peanut butter into diamonds. Peter Pan tried it with his buddy Skippy, but they couldn't do it in a jiff. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 31 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Chaves County Federated Republican Women. I could do that one breath now.
That's amazing.
Janine Best back with us. Good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. How are you this morning?
Doing good. Doing good. Now I got to ask, did you feel the earthquake last night? Or?
I did.
You did? Okay.
I did. I felt deflation.
I missed everything. I slept right through it.
I stood behind a friend and went out and just sat.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, he needed a little shoulder to...
Moral support.
Yeah, a little moral support. Yeah. So I went out to about 8 o'clock, and then I came home and, started my stuff for Wednesday because we are giving out special certificates to our veterans.
Yes, for folks that don't know, first off, if you're not familiar, the Chaves County Federated Republican Women, you can kind of, I think, figure out the main gist of it through the title here. They are an organization of not all women, but mostly women.
We have associates.
We have associates that are not
Those
females.
are the gentlemen.
They are
and babies and younger kids.
Yeah, the males, spouses, sons, friends, all of the above there. But and they do twofold. Well, first is obviously supporting and helping and notifying and educating the public about candidates for the Republican Party and the agenda of the Republican Party and promoting that. That's kind of mission one.
Yes.
But the other side and support the candidates there. And obviously when primary season hits, kind of play Switzerland.
Yeah, that's our biggest. We have to play Switzerland.
Yeah, and kind of support everybody. But then once we get past primary season, then they fight hard for the Republican candidates.
Correct.
The other arm of the Chaves County Federated Republican Women is the outreach side, where they work with youth and scholarships and work with other local organizations and helping them achieve their missions that they're trying to do. Whether it's some of the youth organizations or something. You kind of wherever help's needed, you guys will kind of pitch in and help out at those things.
Correct.
That being said, they meet every single month, the third Wednesday of the month at the Convention and Civic Center. And so they always join us on the second Wednesday to say, hey, don't forget, next Wednesday's our luncheon.
Yeah.
And we got a special one for this month.
Very special. Very special.
Obviously this Saturday is Veterans Day. Don't forget, there's going to be veterans assemblies going on in our schools all week long here. Goddard's is tomorrow. I think Roswell High's is Friday. The middle schools and stuff. So if you've got children and family members that are, please, veterans, get out there, participate in those, show those kids.
I've dug out every uniform for every volunteer thing, all the way from World War I all the way up to Korea.
Yes.
I mean, I have this collection, and they're all different entities.
So please support those. But Next week, for the Federated Republican Women's Monthly Meeting, it is honoring veterans and Veterans Day and Veterans Month here, really.
Yeah, we've got a good lineup. It's pretty amazing on our lineup. We have General Grizzle.
Yes, he will be our guest speaker, main guest speaker.
Main guest speaker.
Yes.
We also have Nimi Color Guard.
Yeah.
And we have Matt Miller, who's going to play his bagpipes for us.
Awesome.
And we also have yours truly.
I will be speaking for a few minutes.
Yeah, we've got
which
yours
reminds me,
truly.
I was supposed to get a bio to someone. I forgot to
me.
do that. Yeah, I got to do that.
So you've got, what, 15 minutes to make
I got to fill it out. I got to do that. I got sidetracked.
Yeah, the bright light gets me every now and then. We also are giving out certificates and special little gifts. We also cabbaged onto Peachtree this year. We're going to go over there and do a small presentation to those guys over there.
So bring it to them. If they can't
bring
come,
it to them because their bus isn't big enough to bring it to us.
Good deal.
It's a complete meal.
Good deal.
You guys get
Although
everything
I bet
free.
they eat pretty good over at Peachtree. I've seen some of the food there, so it's
I follow them, and they look like they have fun over there.
I'm like, how old do you have to be to get in there again?
Amen. Amen. Amen.
I ain't gonna lie. There's days of like, can I just move now in my 50s and just
leave me a rocking chair?
Is jailed for the early October killing of 34-year-old Laura McCormick. McCormick was shot and killed as she worked at the weed store. On October 25th, the prosecutor filed additional charges, including armed robbery, tampering with evidence, auto theft, and drug charges. The man accused of shooting and killing another person in the parking lot of the Artesia Public Safety Building is due in court Thursday for a preliminary hearing. During the hearing, a judge is expected to rule if there is enough evidence to continue with the case against Acadio Lucero. Lucero is the Artesia man accused of gunning down Mark Rommel in front of the police station as part of a domestic dispute involving the exchange of the children that belong to Rommel's girlfriend. Lucero is reportedly the father of the children. Lucero claims he acted in self-defense. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. A warm day coming up, and then we cool off quite a bit on Thursday. Might even get a few showers with a low and cold front dropping in. We'll be in the mid-80s for the afternoon high today. Wind will be gusty around 30 miles an hour at times, and we have sunshine. Partly cloudy and mid-40s for the overnight hours, and then scattered showers on Thursday, cloudy and upper 50s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
In a time where humans and technology collide, ineffective technology plagues our businesses, schools, and healthcare environments. DSI Document Solutions has emerged as New Mexico's safeguard from the pains of slowed productivity, providing our nation's top business technology, workflow strategies, and support. DSI is here to boost your productivity and reduce your costs. Get ready for success. Visit our new website at DSINM.com.
It's time for the Chavez County Sports Report. It's off to the championship game in boys soccer for the NMMI Colts. Last night, defeating Robertson by a 3-1 count. NMMI is now 17-3 on the season, and they'll play for the title Friday against Sandia Prep. That starts at 6:30 at UNM. Also last night, the Roswell Coyotes have wrapped up at least a tie for the district championship in volleyball by defeating Clovis 3-0. They're tied with Hobbs. That was the end of the regular season last night for both teams. Now moving on into the playoffs. And meanwhile, Goddard loses at home in volleyball. It was a thriller against Artesia. Goddard actually led 2-1 before Artesia won the fourth 25-21, then won the fifth 15-10. And a big upset in girls volleyball. NMMI defeats Tucumcari 3-0 last night. That was the Rattlers' first district loss. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at Roswell Talk FM 106.5.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen called Republicans' most recent round of proposed funding cuts to the Internal Revenue Service damaging and irresponsible. Playing politics with IRS funding is unacceptable, she said, referring to an aid bill that passed the House last week, unlikely to be approved by the Democratic-controlled Senate, that would cut $14 billion from the nation's tax collector in exchange for providing assistance to Israel as it pursues a war against militant Hamas in Gaza.
Americans are increasingly turning to their credit cards to cover everyday expenses, with debt hitting a new record high at the end of September. That's according to a New York Federal Reserve report published Tuesday. Oil prices fell more than 3% on Tuesday to their lowest since late July, as mixed Chinese economic data and rising OPEC exports eased fears about tight markets and as the dollar strengthened. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
Bill Cunningham is now in Roswell on 106.5 FM, KEND Roswell.
And we're closing in on 8 o'clock. Town Hall News is up next. We'll be back on the other side of news. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Breaking news this hour at townhall.com. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Ivanka Trump testifying today in the New York City civil fraud trial looking into her family's business.
Her father gave caustic testimony. Her brothers each spent more than a day on the witness stand. Now it's Ivanka Trump's turn to face questioning into the civil fraud trial, publicly probing into the family business. Unlike her father and her brothers, Ivanka is no longer a defendant in the New York Attorney General's lawsuit alleging Donald Trump's asset values were fraudulently pumped up for years on financial statements that helped him get loans and insurance, something he's been repeatedly proclaiming, including in testimony Monday, to be untrue. In court in Manhattan, I'm Julie Walker.
Miami set to host a third GOP presidential debate tonight. Here's White House correspondent Greg Cluxton.
5 candidates will face off here in South Florida this evening. Ron DeSantis, Nikki Haley, Vivek Ramaswamy, Chris Christie, and Tim Scott. RNC Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel says this debate comes at a critical time in the election cycle.
I think this is going to be one of the most pivotal debates. We are really excited, but this is a moment that we have to meet as a party.
NBC News is televising the debate, which is co-sponsored by the Salem Radio Network. Greg Clugston, Miami.
The House has voted to censure Democratic Representative Rashida Tlaib of Michigan. That's for her rhetoric about the Israel-Hamas war. Newly elected House Speaker Mike Johnson says Congress continues to work in good faith toward its November 17th appropriations deadline.
We're working earnestly on that. We certainly want to avoid a government shutdown. It's a dangerous time around the world right now. We recognize that, and we're doing our job.
Congress has only a few legislative days on the calendar before the Thanksgiving break, and after that, only about 3 weeks to work with in the month of December. More of these stories at townhall.com.
Donald Trump's indictment proves that saving America is not going to be easy. There are entrenched powers that are fighting this with everything they've got. They want to keep control over the country, the narrative, and the nation's money supply. Hi, I'm Lance Wallnau. I'm a news analyst, a Christian author, and evangelical leader. I speak to millions of people every week, people just like you. You see, what the elites are doing is using inflation and government handouts and now central bank digital currencies to determine how they're going to control America. And that's why I recommend all Christians start a gold IRA from the Birch Gold Group. Because physical precious metals are one of the few ways you can maintain control over your own savings. To get a free info kit on gold IRAs, text the word faith to 989898. Birch Gold Group is the only gold company I trust. Get their free info kit and you'll see why a gold IRA can help you. There are no strings attached. Text the word faith to 989898 and you're going to be blessed by taking action right now.
The Air Force is asking Congress to restrict future construction of towering wind turbines near nuclear missile sites.
Those turbines have edged closer to missile installations in Montana, Wyoming, North Dakota, Nebraska, and Colorado. The underground silos share space on vast private farmland with the turbines, which have grown in size and number. But the turbines make it dangerous for military helicopter crews, which need to fly in low and fast when a site alarm triggers.
That is correspondent Rich Thomason reporting. Stellantis' Ram brand may have an answer for drivers with so-called range anxiety, the fear of running out of juice on the road with no way of recharging. Its new Ram Charger pickup can travel 145 miles on electricity with a V6 gas engine and generator on board to recharge the battery while the truck is in motion. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. Fire recovery has been slow for one California town.
Paradise is still recovering 5 years after a wildfire destroyed most of the Northern California town.
The Camp Fire leveled about 11,000 homes in the town, displacing most of the 26,000 people who lived there. 5 years later, only about 2,400 homes have been rebuilt. Most are being built every day. The town now has just under 10,000 people living there. But many people have not been able to move back because they could not afford it. John Scott reports.
A raging fire on Tuesday destroyed a massive World War II-era wooden hangar that had been built to house military blimps based in Southern California. The Orange County Fire Authority said in a social media post allowing the structure to collapse was the only way to fight the inferno. The agency released video of flames racing along the curved roof, which fell apart in sections. You'll find more of these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2. Mornings with Mike Winters, right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Tuesday. Or Wednesday.
Yes, sir.
Wednesday, everybody.
Wednesday.
Sorry. My brain's in a...
Sorry. I used to
Groundhog Day.
I was raised with a southern drawl, so I had to like break myself of saying things like 100 and Wednesday.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wednesday. Winda's my
Winder.
big crutch. I say
Winder. Winder was a big one.
Yeah. I say Winda a lot. W-I-N.
Right there at the Winder.
Yeah. If I'm not paying attention, instead of roof, I'll say roof.
Mm-hmm.
And I do roof.
You can combine the words go to in my vernacular with the word goat.
Yeah.
I had a substitute teacher one time who was like, go to the bathroom, get a drink. Goat the bathroom.
Goat the bathroom. That's right. Yeah, I'm the same way. I lazily blend words together sometimes.
My favorite of those has always whichy did you? You bring it which did you?
Yeah. That was what's his name?
Jeff Foxworthy.
Yeah, he did that.
Well, and it's really sad growing up listening to Jeff Foxworthy and kind of using it as a metric for my life. Like, I did have a collection of salad bowls that all said Cool Whip on the side. My working TV was on top of my non-working TV. We did have a car on blocks in the front yard. We were living Jeff Foxworthy's albums.
I think at some point in my life, yes. Growing up as a kid? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. My grandma had 80,000 butter tubs under the sink. My grandma's house, because I lived with my grandma till I was 4, but in not the main TV room, not the living room, but my grandma had a side TV in her bedroom.
Oh, a side piece, nice.
Yeah, but it was a bigger TV broke, and sitting on top of it was a 13-inch TV.
Nice.
That worked, but was going to be broke soon because what it did was when you had to turn on the TV and then walk away for about 5 minutes.
I come from a generation where technology had to be warmed up.
Yes. Well,
it needed to warm up.
So I turned on it was a black and white 13-inch TV, latest in technology there. So I turned it on, had the UHF knob and the regular knob. So I'd turn it on, and then I'd go to the other room. And what would happen was the picture would spin, and it would spin for about 5 minutes,
and then it would finally
slow. Kind of think of it like the Showcase Showdown or the spin wheel on Price is Right, where they try to get the dollar.
Did that TV not have the dial where you could adjust the
it did, but it did no good until you got to the slow.
Until you
just
and it wasn't that coil had to just kind of like warm itself up.
And then it would go up and down, and finally it'd settle in, and then about 10 minutes later I could watch Superman.
But that's also evidence of forced obsolescence in technology today, because I had a TV in my room that survived a barn fire and like a tornado, I think it was.
Right.
And it still worked great as long as if it was acting up, you just had to go upside its head. Smack it on the side once and it was fine.
Yeah.
I had that with a Sega Genesis in my room, and that was like the height of entertainment as a child.
Yeah, I get that, because I remember beating a lot of things to get it to work. I
need to bring back the cathode ray tube.
Right.
They need to bring that back.
The what?
The cathode ray tube, the old school like tube TV.
Oh, the CRT TV.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I feel like that's the technology that's going to happen, like that's going to be re-released next, because like record players are a huge thing right
vintage.
now. I feel like that's how people are going to get vintage next, is with old school tube TVs.
Well, it amazes me.
There was a warmth that we had.
Like back in those days, you're just like, hey, I got a picture without snow. That's a win.
Yeah.
And I don't recall like thinking the picture was bad. It's like good. I remember watching TV and movies and not thinking, wow, the amazing quality of the.
Yeah.
Didn't think of it. Just watched it. But now, like in this era when we got 4K, blah 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 blah, everything else now, it's so weird going back and watching old programming on more modern gear.
I've watched.
It makes it look so old.
Your 4K flat screen in front of your 1080 non-working flat screen.
It ages it even more though when you're trying to watch it on new tech. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like, I went back and watched Faulty Towers with John Cleese from the 70s.
Yeah.
And
wasn't House in that one?
I think he might have been in it towards like the later seasons.
Yeah, I thought he was in Faulty Towers.
But yeah, I went back and watched that, and it was funny. I mean, I love the show, but it's just so painful to watch it in that format.
Yeah.
It makes it feel like this is from a completely bygone era, but it was only like 40 years ago.
Right.
But
even like some of the 70s TV sets look even like the not television sets, the sets of the show, like the room, like Sanford and Son, or like, to be honest, I've been catching like Roseanne from the 90s,
right,
and late 80s, early 90s when that show was on, and I'm like, did we really look that like that was like that living room? I'm like, no, we didn't really look in things that looked like that.
It looked like it smelled like cigarettes. Yeah, I know exactly. There's a meme going around that's just like a bunch of different like sets, like you're saying, and as soon as you see them, you're like, that's Full House, that's Roseanne, that's Married with Children, that's you're just like you instantly see these sets. But the one that I always related with the most was Roseanne.
Yeah, that
because I feel like, again, Midwestern, that whole thing.
That was the honeymooners of its time.
But she didn't have, they didn't have like money,
Right.
And so it always felt way more relatable than like, Family Matters, who both parents had, fantastic jobs, lived in an upscale house. The Roseanne house, it felt very much like one of the two old school stories that we lived in, in Medill,
or even
Oklahoma.
Full House.
Huh?
Or even Full House.
Full House, they inexplicably had more rooms and money than I.
Well, they were in San Francisco,
right,
in a nice neighborhood. Somebody made money in that house.
Yeah, it was Danny Tanner.
Well, and that always gets me. The Home Alone movies. Like, what's Kevin's parents doing? Because that Home Alone house is an amazing house.
Phenomenal.
For that time period.
Not to mention the vacations they go on.
Right.
The fact that they go to New York. I mean, it's
what's going on in that house?
Right?
Are they doctors and lawyers and apparently they're smart, but how do they keep leaving the stupid kid at home every year for like 4 years?
Exactly. And how many micro machines does one kid need?
I saw a meme of that. It was like, I grew up in the 80s versus I grew up in the 80s. And it's just like the Roseanne house versus like one of those nicer houses.
Right, the Kevin house. Yeah.
Yeah,
Facts of life and like stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh, or Different Strokes.
Yeah.
Because Mr. Drummond lived in like a penthouse in New York. That was a big deal back in the 70s when that was, that was the epitome of luxury.
Somebody used the phrase "scratching and surviving" the other day, and I immediately thought of the Good Times jingle.
Oh yeah, I know that.
Ain't we lucky we got 'em good times?
Good times.
It was
oh yeah.
Easy Credit ripoffs. Good times. Hanging in a chair on Good Times.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Scratching and surviving. I was like, I like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Ain't
try to
we
work that
lucky we got them. Yeah, that's a catchy theme song. Yep. That and the Jeffersons had the two catchiest theme. Moving on up. Still stuck in my head.
Of course, I would argue though that Different Strokes had maybe one of the most memorable theme songs.
The world don't need
beat of just one drum. What might be right for you
might be right for
may
some.
not be right for
Man
some.
is born,
he's a man of need. And along came two. Yep. Different strokes it takes. Different strokes it takes. Different strokes.
Well, Facts of Life had it too. The spin-off Facts of Life had the thing too. Facts of Life are all about you.
Yeah.
Ooh, it takes a lot to get them right.
When you're learning the facts of life.
All right. I'm
One
officially
of
showing
my
my
favorite
oldness.
Scrubs episode is when Ted's band is just singing theme songs for shows. And like at the end of it, they're all gathered around a burning 55-gallon drum. It's like on fire. And he's got his coat over his shoulder, and he's singing Charles in Charge. New
Charles
boy
in
in
charge,
the family.
my day and my life. Yeah.
Your neighborhood lives upstairs, and it's understood.
That's what sitcoms need
A
nowadays.
good, memorable theme song.
Yeah.
I
And
agree.
not Big Bang Theory where they take an actual song and put it in there.
No.
Or
You
any
need to
of the
hire a composer specifically to write a song for your show.
or any of the Harmon, the community. They all pick like songs that are like were on the radio.
Yep.
You know, Friends I think started all that mess. The Rim Runner.
I mean, I don't think they start. You know, okay. You know what show I blame? I can't even remember the name of it though. It was Harry. What's his name?
Anderson?
Yeah, is Harry Anderson?
The Night Court guy?
Yeah, the Night Court guy.
Yeah.
He was in a show in the early '80s, and the theme song was a Billy Joel song. It was the oh gosh darn it! I don't have my phone on me right now.
Was it a spinoff of or
I don't think
before
so.
Night Court?
No, it was before Night Court. I'm pretty sure. Oh gosh darn it! I don't have my phone on me right now. But the theme song was I think it was My Life.
Okay.
Go ahead with your own life. Leave me alone. I think that was it.
You talking about Bosom Buddies?
No.
Didn't that use that song?
Maybe they did. I'm not sure. Huh? Dave's World. Thank you. Yes.
Okay.
The show Dave's World. You may, yeah.
Okay.
You may be right. That's exactly what it was.
Okay.
Because I remember watching that as a kid.
Yeah, I'd missed that one. Well, and then Greatest American Hero. That one did it. And late.
Look at Roy coming through clutch.
This is where Roy shines
Heck
in those
yeah,
areas.
dude.
Yeah. No, Greatest American Hero also
Yeah,
did
that's
it.
true.
So I
That
should
is
probably give you Believe It or that one was the one that took us on. But you know what? Yeah, I'd like to get sitcoms back with some catchy. You know, the only closest thing I've seen in more modern times, and it kind of spoofed it, was that HBO. Oh shoot, the superhero spoof. The Peacemaker.
Oh, you're right. And that song was a song that was like on, actually out there on the
that's
radio.
true. That doesn't
but
count. It's so catchy.
But with the dance that they do with it, I mean,
that's one song I like. Theme video. I'm like, I was diddy bopping to it at the time.
It's still in my Spotify playlist, and I skip over it almost every single time. But it's still there just in case.
Just in case you need it.
Just in case you need to taste it.
All right, let me give you. We're going to replay our interview we had with Christina Arnold, City Councilor Ward 1. She joined us yesterday to talk. Her and I got to tour the wastewater treatment plant and had a really cool experience there. So we talk about it here. So we'll play that for you in just a few. We'll get you up to date with news of local variety and all that. Don't forget, we do have football and we do have Permission for the video. So Friday night, Roswell Coyotes. Mayfield will be here at the Wool Bowl. 7 o'clock kickoff. We'll have live streaming video, ksvptv.com. Get your butt to the Wool Bowl and fill that stadium up. here on the radio 106.5. The Goddard Rockets will play at 1 o'clock Saturday afternoon.
Yep.
That game will also be live streaming video at ksvptv.com. Audio at 106.1 FM Fierro as they host Deming for that one. Artesia will play at 1 o'clock on Saturday as well in the Bulldog Bowl there in Artesia. ksvptv.com, 990 AM KSVP, or get yourself in the Bulldog Bowl if you want to be there for that one. So all going down this weekend.
Yes, sir.
All right, it is 8:19. Let's take a look at your weather.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. A warm day coming up, and then we cool off quite a bit on Thursday. Might even get a few showers with a low and cold front dropping in. We'll be in the mid-80s for the afternoon high today. Wind will be gusty around 30 miles an hour at times, and we have sunshine. Partly cloudy in mid-40s for the overnight hours, and then scattered showers on Thursday, cloudy and upper 50s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently, 69 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 25%. Winds are out of the south at 16 miles per hour. Sunny and 84 today. West winds 5 to 10 this morning, 10 to 15 this afternoon. Increasing clouds with an overnight low of 47 tonight. West winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. We are looking at a 40% chance at showers tomorrow morning, mainly before 11. Cloudy, high of only 55 tomorrow with north winds 10 to 15. We are looking at a 40% chance of showers tomorrow night as well, with an overnight low of 42 degrees. East winds 5 to 10. 30% chance of rain on Friday before 11. Mostly cloudy, high of 51. Northeast winds 5 to 10. Shifting to the south for the afternoon. Friday night, cloudy, overnight low of 38. So jackets for football. For your Veterans Day, Saturday, mostly sunny and 63. Sunny and 65 for your Sunday. And Monday, 20% chance of showers, mostly cloudy, high of 60. All right, 8:21, we're going to take a 3-minute break. Then we're going to play our interview with Christina and Arnold talking about our trip to the wastewater treatment plant. Don't go away.
A good night's sleep is so important, and issues like sleep apnea make falling asleep and staying asleep nearly impossible, but we can help. I'm Dr. Sarah Usher at Carabelli Dental. With the help of a simple oral appliance, your sleepless nights could be a thing of the past. But don't take my word for it, just ask Lainey.
My name is Lainey Smith. I wasn't surprised when I found out I had sleep apnea simply because I had a horrible sleep pattern. I attempted to use the machine and it drove me nuts and I could not sleep with it. And then that's when Dr. Agger told me about the oral appliance. I would suspect I've been using it for 2 years now. In all of that time, I've had less than 10 poor nights of sleep. It's a complete game changer. I feel a lot better because I sleep.
This simple appliance can change your life. Call us today to set up your appointment so you can finally get the good night's sleep you need.
Come see the team at Carabelli Dental at the corner of 9th and Main in Roswell, or call 575-622-4455.
Wakefield Oil Express has the highest quality service in Roswell with a 17-point full-service oil change that includes a full wash and vacuum at their car wash. You won't find a better deal. They also offer full synthetic oil changes, fuel and cabin filter replacements, and will even check your battery. Their tunnel wash isn't afraid of dirty vehicles. They have the best value wash in town with free vacuums. They even offer wash passes that can be used for multiple vehicles. Next time you need your oil changed, go to the fast and efficient Wakefield Oil Express and let them earn your business. 3204 North Main, Roswell.
Oasis Computers has been Roswell's trusted source for home and small business computers for over 30 years, and they continue to be your best resource for computer repairs, operating system upgrades, web root managed antivirus, special orders, and more. Oasis Computers is now open from 8 to 1, Monday through Friday to better serve you. Service calls by appointments and after-hour appointments are available too. Stop by Oasis Computers at 1703 North Garden or call or text 575-625-9141 for even faster service.
Let's face it, guys. We're living in times where the truth is becoming more suppressed and censorship is increasing at an alarming rate, especially on social media platforms. It's Clyde, and I want to tell you about a safe and secure digital playground we put together just for you. It's Aftermath.media. You get access to thousands of Ground Zero archives and podcasts, along with our private social media groups with your basic membership starting at only $7 a month. Each subscription includes tech support, access to the RSS feeds, along with our own chat room and Telegram channel. In addition, the premium membership includes research study groups, webinars, a document and movie library, a live video stream of Ground Zero, a monthly Zoom chat with me, and other bonus content. Be sure to check out our yearly specials as well. Sign up today while you're thinking about it. Sign up at aftermath.media. Again, that's aftermath.media.
Mulan has the highest kill count of any Disney character. When asked for comment, Buzz Lightyear responded, "To infinity and beyond." Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 20 minutes after 7 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning, City Councilor representing Ward 1, Christina Arnold, back with us. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm really good.
Good
yeah,
deal.
I always laugh because right before you go into it, you have this great joke, and it makes me smile. So I love it.
Some are better than others.
Yeah,
you know.
well, I do it in the car too, so when I'm listening.
Some of them are good. Some are thinkers.
Yes, I ponder for a minute. Sometimes.
They're all kind of a bit of my warped sense of humor. They're all.
Did you write them all?
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I write all those.
I didn't know that, so
Yeah.
I love that now.
Yeah, every once in a while, I need to get on the stick and write some more. But yeah, I write all. If you hear all the stupid, quirky, witty things that are, or lack thereof, witty, they're coming out of my head.
Okay, I was actually wondering where those were from. So now every time I'm gonna go, oh wow, something's up with him.
Those come out of my head.
Yes.
Yeah, I get one of those days. But Christina and I.
Yes.
Actually, Christina, she went back for a second time. So we did get an opportunity to tour the wastewater treatment facility here in Roswell yesterday. And unfortunately, we were going to have Lorenzo with us, utilities director here, but you know, he's got utilities to take care of.
There must have been some serious like poo emergency or something.
Exactly. So he's not going to be able to join us today, but we kind of just want to talk a little bit about what we saw, and I don't think people realize the magnitude of what's going on out there with some of the the amount of stuff that comes in and how it handles it and does it. It's pretty impressive to see. Yes, it does smell out of the wastewater treatment.
No, let's just flat out call it. It stunk.
Yeah, you can't avoid that one.
No.
But here's the thing that didn't surprise me. Like you go to Artesia.
Uh-huh.
And, you get the wind blowing and, like, the whole town smells like the oil refinery in some way or shape or form, depending on which way the wind's blowing. They like, oh, that's the smell of money. It does relegate to that area. To like, once you're on the plant, like, driving up to it.
You didn't.
Now, granted, it's out, like, you can't go much further on College anymore without hitting, it's at the end of the road there.
Correct, yeah.
So it's not exactly in a populated area. But even when you drive up on it, you're not like, getting close. I can tell because I can smell it. You really don't.
You don't smell it
notice
until you actually get up to
until
the
you're
tanks.
in the facility and start walking around like, oh, there it is.
Well, and it's really interesting because the plant is actually located in what I consider a very pretty valley.
It is.
And so that, I actually found it peaceful to drive through there because most of the time, most of us don't go out into that area. But it's really beautiful with lots of trees. And I didn't smell anything. And I don't know that the residents really smell it unless there's a really strong wind, kind of like when they fertilize, the fields with the cow manure. And for 2 days, that's what we smell.
But then it's everywhere. What are you going to do? But but like you said, I think really that area is very pretty because of that wastewater treatment plant.
I think so too.
Because basically all the poo and all the wastewater
and the nitrates and all that stuff that's released. Mm-hmm. Yes. And it has to seep out in some form or manner because it's all beautiful, all green and everything.
But they kind of take it there and then and they basically convert it to potable water that they can use to water crops. And you can't drink it. You're not going to. But for industrial use, for agricultural purposes, they can use that water. And I think that's part of the reason why it's so green. I mean, it's a little brown out because it's Bermuda grass, but I mean, it's kind of lush in that area, and I think it's just because there's so much that potable water, and obviously the farmers and ranchers that are in that area, they get direct use of some of that potable water, and so it kind of makes sense once you understand what they're doing there, why it's so lush, that area.
Well, yeah, and the first time that I actually went to see it was right after I was first elected, and I think it was in April. It was probably May, and it was all green, and it kind of reminded me, like I told you, the Sound of Music because of these rolling
frolicking
green
in the
hills. And I do have to commend the water treatment plant, the employees there, because it is actually extremely clean.
It is.
It is very well manicured. I was so surprised initially.
It's kind of like a golf course a little
bit. Right. With these cement towers and these cement buildings, and that whole process of when it comes in, what do they call those? The poop fields?
Yeah,
they lay it out and dry it.
Yeah.
And luckily, the city council just recently voted to put in a new system in a new building.
Yeah.
It has a pretty price tag, but it's actually going to save a lot of time and effort instead of having to dry that.
Yeah, they're going to make it even more efficient.
Correct.
More,
yes.
And to be honest, this area is growing.
That's exactly what my concern is.
And it's got to meet you can't, when it comes to utility work, your wastewater, your electricity, water, the things that people need, roads, water, these are sewage. These are things that you have to set up before the growth happens.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, you've got problems.
Well, and that's kind of what I find interesting is, when you need revenue and want to create ideas on how to bring revenue, the first thought should be infrastructure.
Absolutely.
So what do we do with the money we do have? It should be to create the infrastructure to bring in the revenue. Because if we're not thinking about expansion or not thinking about how, where are we at? Do we need to add more thought to actually how we're going to grow the wastewater, the infrastructure, our lines? I mean, and currently our lines are so outdated. We have so much to do, and that's why infrastructure is kind of at the top of my list as far as a first.
Well, and it's one of those things, and it's whether we're talking wastewater or pipes or roads
or sanitation
where, it's people only care when it's not working right.
Oh, absolutely. My favorite episode, if anyone's ever seen Monk, I don't know if have you ever seen it?
I remember Monk.
I love Monk. Okay, so it's season 5, episode 2. And that tells you how much I like Monk.
You're a big
fan. But it's basically when the San Francisco sanitation union stopped picking up trash.
Okay.
And the whole San Francisco is covered in trash. And it's just, you just don't actually, you can't think about that unless you see that. And so that's why you're exactly right.
Yeah.
If trash doesn't get picked up, we would notice.
Exactly. That's when people care. So having to stay, so this upgrade and everything they're doing out there, by the way, it looks pretty cool. They're doing a lot of work out there, but it really is an efficient, it's all science. They have a lab out there and, everything. It's kind of a little bit of everything out there. You know what it reminds me of when I walk around? Like if you're a Navy guy, like if you spent time in the Navy on ships and stuff, I feel like you'd feel a little bit at home at the wastewater treatment plant just because the pipes, like if you're walking around inside some of the buildings and seeing some of the gear and some of the equipment that's used to move the water around, it reminds me of inside a Navy ship. It really...
That's how I felt.
Yeah.
Because of all the cement and how organized.
The pipes, the large pipes and the large... Like this is the facility that uses those crazy, silly, clown-sized large wrenches and everything. You know what I mean? Like those tools that you see on online, and you're like, wow, what they do with that thing? This is the place they use those things at, and it's just really, and like you said, the clean part, it's very clean, sterile. It's like going into like some of these places it's like walking into like a dairy or something. Like you see how the concrete floor and how it's very. The wastewater treatment plant looks a lot like that in some areas. Pipes are bigger and the equipment's a little different, but as far as the same standards and how they do that kind of stuff, it's right there.
And I think there was only because so just so the listeners know, there's I think 8 processes. I think that's what we did. So during the tour, they took us to the 8 different phases of what the waste
where it goes from the
through.
hardcore stuff coming in to potable water at the end.
Yeah, and so you get to actually see the science behind the breakdown of them turning it back into usable water, and it's just fascinating. So for me, there was only 2 areas that I felt were real smelly. But when they actually filter out because they start by separating the waste from the water.
Right, the solid from the liquid,
right.
so to speak.
Yeah, and it's interesting because then some of that waste, they get it ready to become fertilizer. They get it ready to be resourced and.
Oh, and by the way, it's junk and everything else. Like they filter out like needles, all the crap that you flush down toilets.
Yeah.
They filter. That's like one of the first filters that catches that stuff, and then it kind of.
That's that's like almost the first step is to get all the yucky out.
Pardon the pun, but the other stuff besides the crap you flush down the toilet. That's what I meant to say.
It's technically all crap,
exactly.
Right? Yes, but it's really interesting to actually see because you see the poop side of it, the first filter, and then as you start to ascend down the hill, you start to see how the water becomes broken down, and
Absolutely.
that's the science that is fascinating to me because what was there like 3 or 4 retainer pools that held the water. Okay. And it was just so interesting because each one we would go to, you could see that it was starting to get clearer and clearer.
Like the first ones were really nasty, but by the time we're getting to the end, you're almost like, hey, that looks like water.
Yeah. We actually were very lucky because I didn't see this the first time, but we actually there's this arm that goes around the tank and what is that word?
Kind of like filters or
it scrapes through and it goes real slow and it pulls the waste into this little deposit area and we actually caught it because it goes so slow that I'd not seen that before. So
very methodical how it just kind of
it's this little arm
and then it kind of like and that's just like a filter as it filters out the crud throughout the water and it kind of goes through several pools of that basically, and each time it gets filtered finer and finer. We also got a chance to see one of the tanks because they have one area where there's 2 of the big and this was like midway through the process of the water here. One of the tanks because they have to drain the tanks every so often for maintenance, cleaning, and doing all that. And one of the tanks yesterday was down to where they were doing their work on it, and so we got to actually see
eat a little jets,
see it empty, and see like the boat propellers that it like on boats, but actually they're big ones like on bigger ships. Like they look like literally look like those propellers on that boat, and that's what they use to turn the water and to get everything going.
Well, and that was kind of shaped in a cement U, you know, and I kept thinking of a U-boat because that's how I saw it. I thought it was just really, and especially without the water, and I had not seen it without water in it. So seeing what they have to do to clean, what did they say? There was like 1,000 little heads they have to
scrub and maintain and repair and replace and all of that. And it's a lot of work in maintaining that facility. That it really is impressive to see, and it's a well-oiled machine, and it just works and it just goes. And then obviously they have to because when it rains or anytime we have weather, those ponds, they have to act accordingly because when you start filling up those ponds with rainwater, it kind of messes up the whole balance there. And so they've got to accommodate.
And even the poop pods. I mean, the big where they dry the poop, that's actually a really interesting area to see when it rains because can you imagine that flooding?
Yeah.
But another thing I found, we had a young man named Rick give us a tour. I think he was young, but he looked young.
He looked young to us. So.
Yeah, that's true. That's true anymore. Everyone.
They're all younger, right? The older we get, the younger they are.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not sure are you 12? Yeah. But
be careful because people get mad and you're like, I'm complimenting you. I wish I looked like that.
But he actually did a great job. But one of the things we learned from him was that they actually do a lot of their own maintenance. So they're trained to take care of a lot of this big equipment.
Yeah.
Which is when I'm sure you or I look at it, we're like, okay, now what do we do? Because it was so actually it was extensive and big, like you said, big old pipes and probably big wrenches.
Yeah, it's like plumbing on steroids, and it's like, I'm a plumber. It's like, yeah, but you deal with this.
I just like the fact that we weren't calling in for service, that our own men were capable of repairing and maintaining our equipment. And like you said, that open, empty pool kind of gave us a good example of what they have to do to maintain and keep those tanks running.
Yeah. And to be honest, because they're in-house and everything, they're probably the most qualified to work on it because they know the equipment, they know the parts, they probably know better than any other, entity around. So, but it is a fascinating thing. And if you ever do get a chance to take the tour, I highly recommend you do it. And And it'll definitely make you appreciate some of the things that you take for granted in your home, like
or
flushing
the things
a toilet
you thought you knew.
Yeah.
Because that's like the microbes and the UV rays that they use to purify that water is actually a neat science.
Yeah. And also the kind of green recycling side of it, where at the end of the day, we're taking all of this wasted product and turning it into something that we can reuse here for the public. And you're talking about raising, talking about money needs and infrastructure and all that. You look at that, and that's a form of income.
Yes.
When it comes to the potable water, we're taking something that no one wants and turning it into something people want.
Correct.
Yeah. When there's supply demand, that means there's money to be made there. And that's what we're, when we see these kind of things. And like you said earlier, getting in the business of this stuff, let's face it, most companies and things can't handle what they do out at the wastewater treatment plant. So it's like, well, they got the facilities, let's do it. And you know what I mean? It's like if you tried to create that on your own in a private it just wouldn't happen.
No.
Not without spending gazillions of dollars doing it.
You just stirred up my brain. I'm kind of like, is there any private waste management facility, like in the States? That's something I would actually be interested to see if that's like something that could be an independent business.
Yeah, I know there's like garbage collection, but I don't know about wastewater type stuff and all that. So.
Well, even in garbage collection, you just have these companies that actually run, but I believe that the site, the sanitation.
Yeah, they don't have their own landfills or nothing. It's coming to the city or state
and
run.
that's still managed. So I think there's definitely some aspects where private and public could mix.
Yeah.
But there, some of it's just something that only private or public
well,
can do.
It takes certain things to happen to move the mountains to make these kind of things, and that's why governments are usually better equipped to do that kind of thing. So,
well, I've lived in Texas, and they actually do. I guess they have people compete for services as far as your trash pickup and your electricity. And it's a really interesting concept. The thing is I don't know that I completely like it more than a public ran.
Sure.
But I did find it interesting on the ability to have that competitive nature and for you to actually seek out a lower bid.
Always like that option.
Yeah.
And this is America. That's
how
America works. You don't,
But the question is it more effective? And that's kind of where I love the idea of capitalism.
Sure. And that's where's the line?
Yeah.
And, where something that everybody needs, like services like electricity, water, internet starting to turn into that that utility now. We're kind of going that way. And so we kind of got to nail that one because at the same time, yes, as far as society to operate, we need all that. So the government has to get in there and do stipulations to allow, that's why, internet providers, things get perks because at the end of the day, they're doing a service for the community. And so it's like, look at COVID, Jeff Bezos and shipping and everything else, and how much money he made off COVID because of the services he quote unquote provided.
Yeah. To locked up people. Well, it's actually interesting. I'd heard a story the other day that that streets, for the city actually used to be, if we needed a road microsurfaced or repaved, that it actually used to be done in house. And this is like years and years ago. So I kind of thought that's really interesting. Do certain cities have a department that just completely does that?
Yeah.
Is that more cost effective? Those kind of things you think about.
Sure.
Because for me, while private industry is always more the way I lean.
Sure.
I still try
to get it done faster.
Correct. And I try to actually be mindful of, okay, what does the government do better? And so, when you're looking at something like even ambulance services,
sure.
Would it be better for us to actually do that in-house and kind of like our fire department? So versus a private industry.
And that's the balance that government, because especially when you look at a town the size of Roswell, because we're right on that balance there. Obviously a bigger city like your major Dallases and all that, they have their own facilities because they have a demand and things that meet that. Where Roswell, we're kind of like we're a big town in a small town feel, and right at 50,000, we have amenities of a big town, but we're still a small town. So questions on like how much do we contract versus how much we do in house those debates get bigger and bigger in a town like this size, because whereas I feel like Dallas or New York or DC, they don't have those because of the size of what they are. But a town our size, we're like, we could go either way with that. A smaller town, obviously, it's spending more money on those resources. They make the money by getting multiple towns, multiple people, entities to buy into it. So Roswell's in that unique position. It's like we could go either way with it, depending on if the deal's right. You know what I mean? So that's kind of why you guys as city councilors have to debate this stuff. But I would also argue too that because of we're a Mecca destination city,
yes,
as far as other rural communities come to us to meet their needs, we have to do a little bit more in-house ourselves, because we are in an island, so to speak.
Yes.
We are that. So that's the balance. That's there's many variables into deciding, do we do it ourselves? Do we do it? And that's the real work.
At this very point, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But the idea, the idea of growth, though, if you're creating a vision for a town,
then you got to have that in place,
right? But also that will attract. So let's say, let's just use Reno Air Races as an example. Should that come in, I believe the entrepreneurial fire will be set, because people will start going, okay, they need this little bracket. So we're going to,
right,
just for one, you start seeing that the services are out there, something you and I would never think of.
Sure.
But
it's a little like
it would, and that's what would bring in more different businesses and stuff.
I kind of look at it a little like the space race, and what I mean by that is like when Kennedy made his announcement,
yeah,
we will put a man on the moon by the end of the decade.
Yeah,
that kind of was dropping a gauntlet for the space people, saying you better get on the moon.
Right.
I feel like the Reno Air Race is saying, hey, we want you, is going to do that. Say, oh, we got 2025 to get this stuff up and running.
No, that's exactly. I'm on that team with Mike Espiritu, and that is our first thought. As soon as we learn, there will be like a big, meeting about, okay, get your mind ready, get ready, think, create whatever you want, and and come and do business in Roswell.
Absolutely. So it's very interesting to see some of this stuff, and this is why I encourage you to come to city council meetings, come to some of the public meetings for the different, boards that meet between, our utilities boards, a cemetery board. I mean, all of these, some of them are sexier than others, but all of them are vital and important to the running of this community. And as citizens, the John and Jane Q publics out there, this is how you get involved, by making sure you vote today, or if you early voted, and then also come to some of these meetings. Here's some. Go to the city's website, get on the calendar, see when they are, and
or
come
you
to some
can
of
watch
these meetings.
online
while
you're cooking dinner.
Exactly.
So because there's a lot to learn as far as things you may not know, but it is kind of interesting that if we are going to expand the waste treatment plant, even sanitation, all of it needs to be considered, and knowing where they're at, so we can actually invest in them to expand, because the idea for the future is a growth for this community where the people of this community can prosper.
Absolutely. And it kind of makes sense too, is we're also in a time when it comes to infrastructure where we're at a turning point. And it's by default with just the equipment and when they did this pipe work 75 years ago, and now we're down to that, we're hitting a time where we have to do these changes anyway, because the shelf life is on the equipment before.
Well,
and so what do we take it? What do we do with it next?
That's a good point. Exactly. Yeah. We are at the point to where it's time to look at the infrastructure that our forefathers built. And so when we're rebuilding it, do we build it just the same, or do we expand?
Sure.
No, because
to meet the needs of 100 years from now.
Well, to create the opportunity of growth. And that's one thing I found very fascinating about Hobbs. Everything that they build has the ability to be expanded. And that's very forward thinking.
Yeah. Well, in a town like Hobbs, and really Roswell, you need that.
Yes.
Because you've seen Hobbs. When it's good, it's really busy, and then when it's dead, it's really dead.
Even their
boomer
airport.
bust town.
Their airport is built to be able to be added onto. It's not blocked in. It's not
hamstringed onto a.
Yeah, and that I find that concept very forward thinking.
It's a novel concept, and you're like, why didn't everybody think of this sooner? But and that's really what we're trying to. We need to set the table, or at least people are trying to set the direction for us to do that kind of stuff. And we look at the assets we do have as a city, and we have amazing assets for a city of this size with, that airport alone's a huge deal. But just our facilities for wastewater and all of those things, to the landfill, to even getting into our jails and all of that side. A lot of towns like this size don't deal with all of those issues, and so the fact that we have it is great, but it also is a responsibility, and it's something we got to make sure that it's available and working the way it should 10, 20, 30, 50 years down the road. And what you're seeing at the wastewater treatment plant right now and this renovation, all that is moving in that direction.
Well, I do know that, Lorenzo, I've visited him with him many times, and I do know that he has things in the works to keep us expanding, to keep our systems updated. And, in watching him, I do have to commend, because that is a very well-oiled machine.
Yeah.
He is over, like you said, utilities. And you can see the true measure of his work through how things are really running pretty smooth. So I do have to commend that whole utilities, water, all of them. They work really hard.
We're so thankful for our engineers and those types that do all that. And you know what, young folks, if you're looking to pursue the career of engineering, talk to the city. Maybe say, hey, I'd love to get a tour. I'm pursuing I'm willing to bet, especially if you tell them you're pursuing engineering degrees and careers and like that, and you kind of want to see some of that stuff. I'm very sure reach out to your city councilor. Tell them, hey, I'm a young student. I'd love to do that. I guarantee
call me.
And any one of the other 9, I bet, would be willing to do the same for you.
I also want to, encourage people to consider working at the waste.
Absolutely.
Because that's one thing we did talk about when we were talking to Rick. Most people coming out there think, oh, I would never even, apply for that because it's poo.
Yeah.
But it was probably the most serene environment.
Yeah.
Because we stood out there and it was like a great place to meditate.
It's calm and quiet. Yeah, it's very, very chill.
Yeah,
it's very,
I was like, hey.
Yeah, it's like I said, if it wasn't for all the poo, it'd be like a country club out there.
That's exactly what you said. I could see the golf carts out there.
Yeah.
So that's why I think people, before you say no to a job out there, you may want to actually go look at it.
Not to mention it pays well.
It pays well.
Anytime you do jobs that people tend to not be into, they pay very good. Garbage men make good money. Just telling you.
Okay, I'm going to actually have to go. I've been working on making sure they make good money.
Yeah.
I think we could do better, but we will.
We'll work on that.
We'll work on it.
But that's the thing is, and that's just it. They're careers that you can go take that wherever you want to.
And you can grow in them.
You can grow in them. And I really, you see the staff and everybody that out. And that's the thing, too. The proof's in the pudding. You talk to the staff and they like, oh yeah, I've been here 7 years. I like it. It's been really helpful.
Yeah.
I didn't think I would, and then I get here and I love it. And that's kind of the you hear from a lot of folks.
I actually hear that quite a bit.
Yeah, they do.
And they'll try in different spots. They'll start and then they'll do like, so I've been here for 5 years, but before this, I was at this for 7 years.
Absolutely.
And I like hearing that because they found an area or a niche that fits them.
Absolutely. And when you hear people saying, I've been here 10 years, 15 years, that's the biggest indicator I can tell you if that's a good place to work.
Correct.
When you when you see employees that have been there that long, and that says that they're making people happy, that they're not wanting to leave because they're in a good working situation.
Yeah.
And we have a lot of those there at many of the facilities in our city, including that wastewater treatment.
We actually pinned, did the I guess it was the employee service for pinning people for their, marking of their years. And so when you see that list of some of the people that have been here 30, 40 years, and, it was actually quite amazing to see that list was actually quite long, starting from a 5-year mark and 10 to 15 to 20. It's just amazing. And I do love that it is a place where people feel at home.
Absolutely.
To stay a long time.
Absolutely. So if you're looking for a career, go to the city's website. I'm going to say all, but many departments are hiring right now. So.
It is funny how we switch from poo to jobs.
Yeah. Well, someone's got to do the job.
Both of them, right? You got to plug for the jobs too.
But it really is a pretty amazing dance what they do out there. And if you do get a chance, I highly recommend you check it out. It is worth it. You will be shocked and surprised at how the sausage is made, so to speak, here on some of that.
That's right. Yeah, that is the fun part. I actually like how the sausage.
I do
is made.
too. I've always been.
Yeah, we did talk about that because we prefer to watch like you said, pro wrestling.
Yeah.
We want to watch how the pro wrestling is made, not necessarily.
I'd rather watch how to make the thing than watch the thing. Sometimes.
Yes, absolutely. And you could do documentaries on that, and I could watch those.
Yeah, I'm way into that.
Yeah,
that's kind of how I am.
I think there was a legislator, and I think it was Souls. I may be wrong. There's a state legislator who wrote a book on how the sausage is made up at in Santa Fe.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah, that's probably a book everyone needs to read because
now you got me going. I thought I ordered that, so I need to check on that because I wanted to read it.
Hey, I didn't get it. I better check in with my guy here.
Well, sometimes I just forget. I'll do it and then I'll forget. So. Yeah. Well, we'll order that. But today's voting.
Yes, I was about to hit that before we go.
Okay.
It is election day. You can go to any of the convenience centers. The city is offering rides to polling places. I just saw the Helping Hands group. If you go on their Facebook page, if you take a picture of you voting, they've got an added incentive. They're giving away like a $50 gift card to some random person that proves that they voted today.
Oh, snap. I'll have to do that.
So take a picture of you or your I voted sticker or while you're voting and upload it to the Helping Hands Facebook, and you might win a gift card or something like that too. It's just a little added bonus I learned today here as well too.
I do want to add that because today is a voting day, next month I will bring in Amalia Martinez. Okay. Yes, our Roswell City Clerk,
so
and she can kind of since this has been her first time at it because we just moved it back to where the city is. Mm-hmm. Is doing part of it and that type of stuff, and so she can kind of talk about how it worked with the county.
I would really like her to explain the security side. I mean, not breaking down on how they do it, but to get people to understand. Yeah, get people to understand that whole process of once you slide your piece of paper in that machine, what happens next. I would love to kind of get people an understanding on that.
I think a lot of people would know about that. But I've actually been part of the process where we've clear out the voter rolls. You start removing people that have passed or people that have moved, and that whole process was very, very clinical and very clean.
I've seen a little bit from the outside in on election nights and stuff, so I know too. And
most of their systems are set up to be very rigid.
Yeah.
So
I kind of wanted her to kind of explain that way. Just to because I've seen some of that where most people don't see that, where I've been in years past where I'm sitting at City Hall waiting as elections come in, the results come in, and the people from the different precincts are walking in, and just it's kind of a neat thing to watch. Again, how the sausage is made, sitting there on the side watching it. So
well, I will tell you that I had worked as a voter, poll worker, and it can be a long day and very boring.
Yes. It's a hurry up and wait mindset.
All day long,
it's either 100 miles an hour or just waiting. That's
right.
pretty much the day. So.
Well, thank you so much for having us
and thank
again.
you for inviting me out. Thank you for
I'm
that
sure that Lynn
opportunity.
Renzo is going to be very disappointed.
We'll get him in sometime.
Yeah.
There's plenty of poo to talk about.
There's plenty of poo.
Thank you, Christina. We'll see you next time. It is 7:53. Let's pause for news and a quick break. Don't go away.
There are new criminal charges filed against a man accused of killing a weed woman while she was working at a local business. The Daily Press reports 52-year-old Joseph Sanders of Bent is jailed for the early October killing of 34-year-old Laura McCormick. McCormick was shot and killed as she worked at the weed store. On October 25th, the prosecutor filed additional charges, including armed robbery, tampering with evidence, auto theft, and drug charges. The man accused of shooting and killing another person in the parking lot of the Artesia Public Safety Building is due in court Thursday for a preliminary hearing. During the hearing, a judge is expected to rule if there is enough evidence to continue with the case against Acadio Lucero. Lucero is the Artesia man accused of gunning down Mark Rommel in front of the police station as part of a domestic dispute involving the exchange of the children that belong to Rommel's girlfriend. Lucero is reportedly the father of the children. Lucero claims he acted in self-defense. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello.
Asian Market brings the flavors of the East to Roswell. The market side has lots of new and different items, including new sauces and noodles to enhance your Asian dishes, plus new snacks and more. And the restaurant inside Asian Market has all Nook's favorites from 11 to 5, like wontons, egg drop, rice or noodle soup, crispy calamari, and the best barbecue fried rice in town. Dine in or call ahead for easy pickup. And find Asian Market on Facebook for updates on open times and specials.
Hi, this is Nook. Come see me at Asian Market, 5702 South Main in Roswell. Call 575-840-5309.
Are you looking for a way to serve your community? Look no further than the New Mexico Army National Guard. Whether it's disaster relief or defending our freedoms, the New Mexico Army National Guard is always ready to serve. Gain valuable skills, receive world-class training, and be a part of a team that makes a difference. Step up and become the best version of yourself. To join the New Mexico Army National Guard, call us at 1-800-GO-GUARD. That's 1-800-GO-GUARD.
Hugh Hewitt is now in Roswell on 106.5 FM KEND Roswell.
And we're closing in on 9 o'clock. Town Hall News coming up next. We'll be back on the other side of news. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, or Roswell, New Mexico. We'll be back. Don't go away.
Breaking news this hour at townhall.com. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. Miami is hosting the third GOP presidential debate tonight. RNC Chairwoman Ronna McDaniel.
I think this is going to be one of the most pivotal debates. We are really excited. But this is a moment that we have to meet as a party.
Former President Trump, will not be taking part. He'll be holding his own rally instead. Tonight's debate for Miami can be seen on NBC and heard on the Salem Radio Network. The owner of Facebook and Instagram says it will put labels on political ads created using artificial intelligence.
The new policy goes into effect January 1st and will apply worldwide. The California-based company's policy is intended to help voters know when they see a political ad that contains altered images, video, or audio. New AI programs have made it easier than ever to generate lifelike voices and images that, in the wrong hands, could mislead voters.
That is correspondent Jeremy House reporting. Social media platforms have been criticized for not doing more to address those risks. Questions about the handling of election ballots. Alleged ballot stuffing in Bridgeport, Connecticut is fueling skepticism about the security of U.S. elections. More from correspondent Donna Warder.
A judge on Wednesday ordered a new primary in Bridgeport because of what he called mishandling of absentee ballots. Gary Rose of Sacred Heart University in Fairfield, Connecticut, says there's surveillance video that's very telling.
The videos show an individual who is a high-ranking member of the Democratic City Committee and also who works for the city of Bridgeport, apparently stuffing ballots into the drop boxes.
In the September 12th primary, Mayor Joe Ganim defeated challenger John Gomes by 251 votes. I'm Donna Warder.
More of these stories at townhall.com.
Donald Trump's indictment proves it's...
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
A new poll finds Americans divided on the Israel-Hamas war.
A survey asked U.S. respondents about Israel's counterattack to the Hamas assault on October 7th. 38% say it's been appropriate. 18% say it has not gone far enough. while 40% say Israel has gone too far. That's according to a poll conducted in early November by the Associated Press Nork Center for Public Affairs Research. More Americans, 44%, now describe Israel as an ally that shares U.S. interests and values, compared to 32% in August. Only about 36% say it is very or extremely important to provide aid to Israel's military. I'm Jennifer King.
GM's Cruise autonomous vehicle unit is recalling all of its cars to update the software. That's after one of them dragged a pedestrian to the side of a San Francisco street in early October. That crash prompted Cruise to suspend driverless operations nationwide. Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. State Democrats who were aiming to stop the Republican momentum in Virginia apparently got their wish on Election Day.
Heading into Election Day, Republicans held a 2-vote majority in the House of Delegates. Unofficial results showed Democrats taking 51 of 100 seats, with Republicans winning 49 by early this morning. Democrats had 22 of 40 seats in the Virginia Senate, but may have lost one, while the GOP appears to have won 19 seats. However, some races were decided by such close margins that recounts could alter the outcome. Anne Marie Morgan reporting.
WeWork has filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection. It marks a stunning but anticipated fall for the office-sharing company, once seen as a Wall Street darling that promised to upend the way people went to work around the world. WeWork says it did enter into a restructuring support agreement with the majority of its stakeholders. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man on this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travelist and what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3 of Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
Yes, sir.
Hope your day's going well. Of course, the election's now behind us. Results are in. I did them all early this morning. You can go and check them out.
Yep. Listen back to hour number 1. It's got all the rundown. Or just find them online.
Yeah, it's right there. There's links and all that. So, of course, we turn our attention to the rest of the week, which involves Veterans Day and football and all that kind of stuff.
The foosball.
Yeah. Don't forget, Goddard High has their big Veterans Day celebration tomorrow.
Starting at 1 o'clock.
Yeah, at the little theater, right?
Starts at the little theater with 1 o'clock for the assembly, and then everything will move into the big gym for at 1:30 for the actual presentation.
Yeah, so kind of meander your way over there about 1-ish, and then just follow the group.
Yeah.
Kind of good, but it's an amazing thing. You're going to check it out.
15th year they've been doing it, so it's awesome to see the kids come out.
I believe Roswell High has theirs on Friday. And I know middle schools and some of the other schools do their stuff over the next couple days. Get out, support all those. Sorry about that. That was the
And we're back.
That was a scheduled test of the emergency alert system. So
Usually they come on and say that it's a test. That's weird. They didn't do that this
just
time.
kind of went on. Yeah. Hey, and it went back to normal on my end.
Oh, did it?
It did.
Nice. Maybe they're getting their system updated.
I think that part is on us. Like the
really?
computer said, "No, I'm not changing the profile back," because when this is way inside baseball, no one cares. But the on-air automation computer that plays our breaks and puts all that stuff in, there's little profiles, and so my show has a profile. When you do Hannity's got a profile, so forth, so on. When that EAS alert kicks in automatically, it too has a profile. So it loads that up to play the audio, and then it's supposed to flip it back to whatever it was before.
Usually it does not do that.
Last couple times it did not. That time it did.
Nice.
So
good to hear it.
Check that off as a win.
There you go. Our next scheduled EAS test is in December.
December the 5th. In the 8 p.m. hour.
In the 8 p.m. hour.
During Clyde Lewis.
Aha. So you fans of Clyde, be ready for which is not a great time for an EAS alert, because you're listening to the show about paranormal stuff and the government's like,
And then that goes off?
Yeah, and that goes off. I'm guessing a lot of tinfoil hats are going to be put on around that time.
Don't jump off the roofs when you hear it at night.
We're warning you now.
It's a test.
It will be coming. Getting to kick off my holidays unofficially today. I don't know if it's like across the school system, but I know that my friend's daughter is doing it, and my son's school and my daughter's school are also doing it. The Thanksgiving lunch today.
Okay.
So I didn't pay for a ticket. However, I am going to take advantage of the fact that my daughter is very food averse. I'm going to get her McDonald's on the way to school, and I'm going to eat her lunch. I said, you still go get your lunch because I will eat your lunch.
So you'll be having the turkey and the dressing and all.
I'll share the mashed taters.
But she'll have nuggets.
Yeah. She already said she's not crazy about pumpkin pie or cranberry sauce and all that.
Has she ever tried them?
We got in this argument today because I was like, you've never tried pumpkin pie. She goes, I did last year, and I didn't like it. I'm like, okay. Fair enough.
I don't like it either, so I'm not going to.
I like it once a year.
Yeah.
And I way prefer, weirdly, a sweet potato pie to a pumpkin pie, even though they're very similar. But I like the sweet potato, flavor and consistency more.
I do like sweet potato better than. Although I love fried pumpkin seeds.
I'm a fan myself.
I'll eat those things 10 times out of 10. I love them. They're good.
Oh yeah.
Even like I was on a kick for a hot minute. I do that. I'm a kick person. I'll buy a thing and then I eat it till
you burn yourself out.
Yeah, I'm one of those people. And a couple years ago, I was sitting at like Albertsons and I got into their, they have like that little section where it has kind of a mini bulk, like you can scoop up like
the container thing next to where their coffee is and all that.
Well, they had some prepackaged like bags of some local or some kind of artisan-y snacks. And there was one that had this bag of fried pumpkin or the pumpkin seeds, bake them, fry them, whatever they do to them. And I like for 2 months straight, I was eating those things on the steady. And then one day I got sick and the stomach sick, and I threw up as one does when your stomach's sick. And those shells, it was not.
That was my next question.
That was the time I said I'm out.
Do you go full seed, full shell?
Oh yeah, I just chew it all up.
That's the scary thing to me about that is the idea or the thought of like diverticulitis.
Yeah,
because like that's to me what that is literally like shards of pumpkin seed shells getting stuck in your
coming
colon.
back up kind of turned me off to eating pumpkin seeds for a while.
I completely understand.
But for a hot minute, I was buying them by the bag every 2 weeks. I'd get a bag and go through it in a couple of days, and then get another bag. And it's
a fun food to just kind of have in the hand, just kind of toss a few back every now and again.
Yeah. I was on a pistachio kick for a hot minute. I'm still like I still like them and still want. I just haven't dug into. I still got like half a bag in there, and I just haven't done it in a while. But I get on little kicks like that. That's what I do.
That's the thing is pistachios they always seem way too expensive, but then you're like, that bag is going to last me a calendar year.
I although I was going through a bag there.
You had
3 or 4 days. Yeah, I was like, and I'd get the bigger bag, the one that was like $11. And there was about 3 or 4 days I was going through one of those. Because I literally would sit there, watch TV, open that bag, and next thing you know, I'm like, oh my gosh, I just ate half a bag of nuts.
You're just covered in shells.
Yeah. Well, I had a bowl, I'd throw them in. So when the bowl filled, I'm like, I got to stop.
Right. When more often you reach in a bowl and get shelled than you do get nut, that's, that's a
all right,
problem.
time to quit. I got to. And my wife's the same way with chips and salsa. That's her. And lately we've been on a kick, or she has more than I have, at Albertsons. And she might get mad because people are going to want to check this out now. At Albertsons, if you go to if it's the south one, it's in that back corner of the produce section where you can buy the yogurt in the cup and all that, the watermelon and all that. Well, on the end of that little display is these tubs of queso with green chili.
Ooh.
And they're a 10.
Ooh,
and my wife inhales those right now. She's kind of in the thing. And she's like, we got some this weekend, and I got 2. And I'm like, I was like, I'm going to make some nachos. And she was like, we'll have to get some more cheese. I was like, I just bought 2 of these. She goes, well, you're going to use some. I was like, I won't use all of it. Relax.
I got to make sure I'm stocked up for tomorrow.
Yeah. So, awesome. She'd get very protective of the queso with green chili.
What's funny is, and it almost feels like it's wrong to do, but so often you forget you can dip Doritos into queso. It's one of those things. It's like I've had Dory nachos and stuff like that. That's you forget you can actually have nacho cheese things with nacho cheese. Yeah. It's a genius move, but it took me to adulthood to feel like it wasn't a wrong thing
you're not
to do.
Supposed to.
Yeah.
The food police said I'm not supposed to do that.
Yeah. It feels like you shouldn't. But
I don't have that problem because I don't like Doritos. So
yeah.
I don't. Only time I eat Doritos is when my wife makes hominy casserole. That's an ingredient in it, and I like it. But short of that, I don't eat Doritos. I just don't like them. I don't know why. That dust on them and it doesn't matter if it's Cool Ranch or nacho cheese or one of the other 70 flavors.
You just don't like the consistency of a Dorito chip.
No.
Is what it sounds like.
Even the regular tortilla chips, I'm like, I'll just get Tostitos.
Right. Yeah, if you're buying Doritos regular tortilla flavor, just get regular tortilla chips.
That's what I do. So that's the only one I'll tolerate because the rest of them, I just don't like that dust on it. It just doesn't hit me right. It doesn't. I like Fritos. I'll eat all the Frito flavors, the chili cheese, the jalapeno, that twisted one with the honey barbecue.
Oh gosh, those are so good.
All day. And I don't even mind the Flamin' Hot Cheetos and stuff. I don't mind. It's just Doritos and that dust. Like when Taco Bell does their Dorito tacos and everyone loses their ever-living mind over them, I'm like, ugh.
I don't like the Dorito taco because it sogs the shell and it never tastes the way that they say it's going to.
Yeah. Plus, don't you need the sleeve or you get the dust all over you? Yeah, I don't want all that mess.
Yeah, it's just I personally would just rather have Doritos on the side with a taco.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah. So it's just not my thing. But back in the day, in my younger days, people judged me harsh because I didn't like Doritos. They'd be like, "What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with you?
You're not eating Doritos and drinking Mountain Dew, the official drink of 20-year-olds." I'm like, "No, I don't like these things."
Yeah. In fairness, though, your system was developed through government issue foods, so you got your palate was adjusted a bit.
That's right.
And also copious amounts of tuna helper and burritos.
We don't have Doritos. We got sardines, though.
Dude, literally one of the best date experiences I've ever had was with a girl we went and got a bag of the Scoops Fritos. We got a can of sardines and a can of oysters and a bottle of the Cholula hot sauce.
Okay.
And we just went to town on it. Just threw everything in a bowl, used the chips to scoop with. Best time ever.
Oh,
first of all, because I was like, this is one down to earth chick, but at the same time, it was just awesome. It was delicious.
He's like, I won't have to spend money on dates ever with her.
Ever.
We're going to do a potted meat and chicharrones today. But yeah, I now, in all fairness, I haven't had sardines since I was a teenager.
Really?
I really just haven't had them.
I haven't had sardines since last week.
Well, as a grown man, I've kind of I can do better now. But
you really can't. I mean, the omega-3s that you get from them, the decent, the good fats. It's really one of the better things you could have.
Yeah, you're probably right. Maybe I will get a can of sardines just because I've done it a long time.
I get weird hankerings. Like the other day, I was just walking through the store. I'm like, I want to get some Braunschweiger. Or lately, you know what it's been lately is fried bologna.
Yeah, I bought bologna a couple weeks ago. I've been eating bologna sandwiches pretty regular, and I haven't done that in years.
Yeah,
but I've been having a hankering. Of course, I've talked about the Spam situation in our house. There, I kind of do that. You know what else I picked up? I haven't opened it yet, but it was one of those weird things I just haven't had in a long time. I saw it and I was like, I'm going to grab it. SpaghettiOs.
Literally 2 days ago. Had me a can. Yeah, I love it. It's still to this day. It's one of those.
I got a can of SpaghettiOs sitting in the pantry right now.
Do you go bare bone SpaghettiOs, or because I always feel like the meatballs and the Franks that just takes away from the SpaghettiO of it all.
My one seed is the Franks.
Really? Okay.
But I like to get the little bit bigger can because I'm fat, and you can't find the Franks.
Yeah,
in the
it's almost
can.
always just
it's either
SpaghettiOs.
meatball or regular. So I have meatball at the house because but I do. You know me. I put meat in everything.
Sure.
That'd be good if it had meat in it. It's cheesecake. That's all right.
I'm good with that. Now it's a meat cake.
But my one seed is the Franks, but they're a little harder to procure. Sometimes. You'll see them in a little can, but not like that.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I almost grabbed a can of beanies and weenies because I hadn't had that in 100 years either. I'm like, beanies and weenies. Oh my gosh, they were a staple as a kid.
So here's the thing: is that was a home dinner, like not the can, but like they would take actual cans of baked beans, cut up Franks or cut up hot dogs, and make the whole thing like an actual like casserole
as a meal. Yeah.
And then it was always fried potatoes on the side.
Ain't nothing wrong with that meal. I'll eat that meal all day, every day.
It was definitely a rib sticker. Yeah, that's for sure.
Of course, the music will follow later on in the evening, but
and usually did.
That's how we kept the house warm in the winter.
That's right. It's internal heating and air.
But I'd be down all down eating that thing, and I'd love that. I would absolutely love that.
That's the thing is, as I've noticed, is you kind of make your way up the echelon of wealth.
Yeah,
their food is terrible.
Yeah,
it's all in small portions, and they use words like braised and to make it sound fancy, but it's just a bite of a thing, and then you're gonna make it fancy by putting fish eggs on it.
All right,
neat. Snails, cool.
Right. Well, and it's like shrimp. Like, you spend all the money on shrimp. There's also Long John Silver's. They have shrimp too.
That's right.
I mean, now, one could argue, where that shrimp came from,
especially in Roswell, New Mexico.
Yeah. Seafood houses in landlocked states, you always got to be leery of.
You really can take a lot of the fancy off of a food by adding the word popcorn before it.
Yeah, it is kind of popcorn shrimp.
Takes the fancy right out of it.
Yeah, that's true. But probably should get our interview going. I just saw the time. It is 9:21. We're going to play our interview we had yesterday with Ted Smith from the Walker Aviation Museum. Give us an update there. But before we do that, let's take a look at your weather. One more day of warm and now a little windy, and then the cold hits, a colder spell for the next few days with some rain chances, maybe.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. A warm day coming up, and then we cool off quite a bit on Thursday. Might even get a few showers with a low and cold front dropping in. We'll be in the mid-80s for the afternoon high today. Wind will be gusty around 30 miles an hour at times, and we have sunshine. Partly cloudy in mid-40s for the overnight hours, and then scattered showers on Thursday, cloudy and upper 50s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you, Steve. Currently, 78 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 17%. Winds are a-blowing out of the west, 24, gusting to 32 at the moment, which kind of makes what I'm about to say next sound stupid. But sunny and a high of 84, west winds 5 to 15 miles per hour today, except right now where they're 24. Tonight, increasing clouds, overnight low of 47 degrees, west winds 5 to 15 miles per hour. Thursday, there is a 40% chance at some showers before noon tomorrow. Cloudy with a high of only 55 degrees, north winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Tomorrow night, a 40% chance of showers, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 42 degrees, with east winds 5 to 10 miles per hour. Friday, waking up to a 30% chance of rain before noon. Mostly cloudy, 51 for a high on Friday. North winds 5 to 10. Friday night, clear, mostly cloudy, overnight low of 38. Mostly sunny for your Veterans Day Saturday with a high of 63. Will be chilly early, so bundle up if you're going to head out to the Veterans Parade. If you're going to go out to the Elks Lodge for a free breakfast starting at 7 on Saturday for veterans. Sunday, we're looking at mostly sunny, 65, and 20% chance of rain Monday. Mostly cloudy, highs near 60. All right, 9:23. We're going to take a quick break, and then we'll play our interview with Ted Smith from the Walker Aviation Museum. Don't go away.
From morning runs to playing with grandkids, taking part in activities brings great joy to our lives, but it can also come with injuries. And for those in physically demanding jobs, the daily grind can wear on muscles, bones, and joints and lead to acute and long-term disorders. If you're suffering from an orthopedic injury, let our Artesia General Hospital specialists help. The sooner you address the root cause, the sooner you'll be back to living life in motion. Learn more at artesiageneral.com/orthopedics.
Check out the pre-Thanksgiving savings you'll find this week at your local Farmers Country Market. Assorted boxes of Food Club cake mixes are 79 cents each, and select varieties of Betty Crocker brownie mix are 5 for $5. In produce, 2-pound bags of juicy mandarins are $2.79 each, and extra large green seedless grapes are $1.99 a pound. In the meat department, Cook's Shake portion bone-in hams are $1.67 a pound, and all slices of grade A honeysuckle white turkeys are $1.59 a pound. These are just some of the pre-Thanksgiving savings you'll find this week at your local Farmers Country Market.
It takes a long time to develop trust. At LaGrone Funeral Chapel, they've been earning your trust for decades. They understand how important it is to friends and family to celebrate a life in the way you choose. The professionals at LaGrone will ease your stress and anxieties. They'll provide the guidance you need to select a service that's appropriate. And that's what they've been doing for generations, earning your trust and doing the right thing. LaGrone Funeral Chapel and Crematory, 900 South Main in Roswell. Online at LaGroneFuneralChapels.com.
Your fingernails grow faster on your dominant hand. Not sure which is your dominant hand? Just wait. You'll nail it. Here's Mike Winters.
Good morning. It is 23 minutes after 8 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Walker Aviation Museum, Ted Smith back with us. Morning, Ted.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Doing great. How about yourself?
Well, every day's a holiday.
Yeah.
In beautiful Roswell.
That's right. Well, for folks who don't know, Ted joins us once a month, or Ted or Robert. They draw straws. And will join us from the Walker Aviation Museum. Give us an update. If you're not familiar, the museum is located inside the air terminal at the Roswell Air Center there. If you go through the main entrance of the airport, it's right there. Open the door, walk in, and there it is the Walker Aviation Museum. It's open usually during the midday flying schedule there, right around 11 till 1-ish or so, somewhere in that ballpark. Daily during it goes around the flying schedule out there, and the museum pays homage to really two things: the Air Force Base where that airport sits, called home, the Roswell Army Airfield originally, then Walker Air Force Base. So you get a history of the people and the things and that what happened at that base during World War II and beyond, and before and after. And the other side of it too is the Cold War side, getting us ready, the missiles, of course, the early ICBMs that the United States had, they were set up shop right here in this area. As they got more advanced with going from to liquid fuel to the fuel cells and all the things, as the missiles got better, they and bigger, they went to other locations. But for the early parts of the Cold War, Roswell was quite the storage facility for many of their ICBMs and things. So, but that's really what the museum is kind of focuses on, of those two things, is that kind of stuff. So you're more than welcome to come down any time during the day. Come today. If you're looking for something to do, come have lunch. Go in, they get a burrito or a sandwich or something. They got pretty good food there at the airport, and then make your way over to the museum and do a little visit and talk to Ted, because Ted is filled with good information too. So if you got questions, Ted's the guy that can kind of steer you in the right direction too here. So
well, you are making me afraid now. I'm going to have to live up to it.
You have no problem doing that. Once Ted gets going, he's gonna impress you with what he knows, and we just want to encourage people to come out and see this museum and learn the history here. They do focus on STEM side. It's so as much as preserving and educating the community on history, they also step hard into STEM and inspiring the younger folks and to pursue careers in STEM, particularly in the aviation industry. We have the flight simulator that, honest to goodness, you can use to get towards your pilot's license. It is a tool to do that. It's not a big arcade game. It's a lot of fun, but it is something that could really help students and younger folks start their paths on their careers, whether, in science and engineering. And so that's the other facet of the museum, is they do a lot of working towards that. You guys have some lot of sponsors and things that do nothing but help you guys support that mission, and so we're very appreciative of them, and it's because of them that you guys can keep doing what you do every single day out there.
Well, I don't need to come. You covered it.
I'm a motor mouth. I'm sorry.
No. Well, since our last visit, Mayor Jennings visited the museum yesterday.
Good deal.
And once again, want to say thank you, Mayor Tim. We appreciate his support a great deal. He provides us with a facility at the airport, which is really appropriate because it's the Air Force Base Museum. It just wouldn't be the same if it was downtown by Wendy's or something. Yeah.
Although I know over the years they kind of wanted to kind of get that, but things change and things happen. But yeah, its home is where it was when it was doing its mission and doing its thing there. So
he told me yesterday that one of the flights that we lost is being restored, and so that's going to be good.
Oh, good.
We're looking forward to having 2 major flights in a day.
Okay, good. That'll be more opportunities for folks to see the museum and come out.
Well, actually, yeah. Every time there's a delay our numbers just climb because people get bored.
They got some time to kill.
Yeah.
Come learn some stuff.
We had a recent visit by the NAMI Aviation Club.
Awesome.
And all you teachers out there, walkermuseum@gmail.com, schedule your field trips.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to get on it. Get those kids out of the classroom. I had some family members since the last time that are kind of interesting who visited. As usual, the family members who grew up on the base remember Roswell very positively. They felt very included and welcomed.
And they probably see it from a kid or a youth perspective, so they look at the social scene probably a lot more than their parents did. You know what I mean?
To be frank, there are towns out there where there were military bases that where folks and the troops didn't really get along. You go to Killeen, Texas, where it seems like they specialize in payday loans and all that, finding ways to rob troops, selling them cheap cars that are junk. But the point is Roswell's nowhere near that.
No.
People come back here because they remember how well treated they were and just how genuine everybody in Roswell is.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always a warm, happy memory. And not everybody who's been stationed in places like D.C. can say that.
Right. Well, and that's just it. What I always find, to be honest, my experience in the military, the more desolate the area of the base is, the better the people are, if that makes sense.
The more rural, yeah.
Yeah, I generally find when you're kind of stuck at a base or a place that isn't near a major city, you tend to find that people are more family, more because they all kind of look out for each other.
They're genuine.
Yeah, and so, that's not always the case, but just my experiences, like I was stationed in Harlem in there, and yes, it had a little of the payday loans and car lots and all that you strip there, as you go into because if you see Alamogordo is a couple miles away from Holloman Air Force Base. You have to drive 10 minutes into town to get into Holloman there. But on that 10-minute stretch, at least when I was in, it was nothing but payday loans and bars and lemon lots, basically.
Yeah, lemon lots.
and so there was that, but at the same time, there is that sense of community and sense, obviously with the German Air Force coming in, they kind of ramped up literally a little more after my time at Holloman, but they were starting when I was getting there. And that whole community sense was very much a part of that there, too. It's very.
One of their planes flew in about 3 weeks ago. It's kind of surprising to see a big old Transall C-160 there.
Yeah, they get. They used to have the tornadoes there, and then you'd see the tornadoes kind of flying around here from time to time. But I think they pulled chocks on all those. I don't think they're there anymore. But
we had a visitor who was a vet from Walker, right, who'd been stationed here. He flew in because he wanted to find a Walker reunion.
Okay.
Rather than do it over the phone or the email, he flew in for that, and we were able to connect him.
Oh, good.
A lady named Carol Westbury brought some photos, really cool, of her grandfather, who was in World War I flight training in Virginia. Extraordinarily rare photos that would be welcomed at places like the Smithsonian.
Yeah.
Very, very high quality, too.
Wow.
Charlie Thompson was here with some pictures and info from his dad.
That is cool.
These are some of them, people who've flown in. A fellow named Duncan Monroe flew in from Sparks, Nevada, and donated a model of a B-29 that has cutouts so you can see what the inside of the aircraft looks like.
Okay, kind of gives you a little inside peek of what the life inside was like.
Right, and he's the son of a man who was assigned to the 509th.
Okay.
And we see this all the time, and it's really, really neat.
I enjoy it. It's great that we have that, because here's the sad reality. That's going to go away at some point. Because people are going to die off here. And the people that called this base home, we're going to lose them at some point. I mean, the base closed, late 60s? We're already getting that point where we're going to be losing these people.
We're seeing some end-of-life kind of trips.
And so I loved and cherished these so much, because at some point we're not going to get to do this anymore. Yes, we're going to get the grandfather, granddaughter, grandson that maybe came in, want to learn about their family. Love that. But the chance to get the veteran or the daughter or son of the veteran that came in and said, yeah, we lived here at Roswell. I remember as a kid, or the dad or the mom that comes in and says, yeah, I served in whatever regiment there or whatever, flight there, they do the squadron, whatever they did. That's what I love, is to hear that, and when they come in and they bring their stories and they bring their photos and they bring their memories of the time here. That's what makes that museum great. That is the great part of that museum.
There's an awful lot of that here in town. We receive a lot of donations of material from people here in town. We have a big collection. Simple things like someone's club membership card or their old ID card or something. It seems like just waste paper, but it's really not.
It's history.
And if you have it in your house, bring it by.
Yeah. If you don't want to keep it around in your collections, we'd love to have it for safekeeping in ours.
So very, very many people in town, civilian folks, have worked at the base from World War II forward. That it's really not just about the Air Force by a long shot. Very large Air Force civilian population of employees and contractors and folks.
Oh yeah. Military bases don't go without the civilian side. It's
absolutely.
It's a heavy presence in every single. Doesn't matter if it's Army, Air Force, Navy. Don't matter. It's there.
Well, I want you to know that this is your museum, Roswell. This is about Roswell.
Mm-hmm.
So not just a bunch of folks who passed through to do some training or for an assignment,
but the people that supported it and lived the lifestyle with the people that came in and did their.
Yeah, it's to me, it's just absolutely heartbreaking the base closed, because the base was about the people of Roswell.
Yeah, I here we are in 2023. I feel like there's got to be some military people kicking themselves in the heads, thinking. Just think what we could still be doing with that facility, because it still has the longest runway in the world. We have great flying weather. There's a lot of assets that the military would like, even still today, at that base. We have Holloman, we have Cannon, we do have Kirtland. Holloman probably does a lot of missions that you would find similar to what you would see here at Roswell. Cannon a little bit. Kirtland, no. But, of course, Holloman is a fighter base. It's not a bomber base. But still, the same reasons why it's open would be the same reasons why this one's open. The bombing ranges, the great flying weather that New Mexico has, they can get so much more training done here than they can when they go to, say, Maine.
They sure can.
Yeah.
And the Navy brings people out every year from Corpus Christi, and they have a giant flying training area over the Gulf. And they still prefer to fly here because there's actually so little air traffic here that they can do constant turnarounds.
Why do you think that Reno Air Races is such a draw for us here? Because we have the great flying conditions for what they're trying to do. And so the military saw that too.
Oh, absolutely. And I can't remember the name of the base, but the air races at Reno are at a closed military base. And that's an indicator right there what you can do with a really high quality closed military base.
Yeah. It'll be nice. We're looking forward to that. I know we're getting a little off topic here, but
I don't know. Somebody told me that we don't have enough hotel rooms to support something like that.
Well, not yet, but we can do that.
There's a problem to have.
Yeah.
Prosperity.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Growth. Yeah, we can figure that one out. We can do the logistics here.
Trust me, they'll come.
Yeah.
And they'll build.
And to be honest, we have a lot of needs for that anyway between NMMI, oil and gas industry. We could use more lodging in this community anyway. And so if that's the spark that gets that fire going, then bring it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to work off the printout of what to say at the radio.
All right. Stick to the script.
Now here's the bad news. I need an eye exam. And this stuff's so small print. So it's going to be...
The older we get, the harder it is to read this stuff.
Going to be interesting.
I keep constantly taking my glasses on and off to read things.
We need some volunteers to help at the museum. I'm not talking about you have to be a history expert by a long shot. You just have to know to call me and I'll help you find out.
Sure. Need some folks to help and need, probably some physical, even to help catalog and move things around.
2.5 hours a day is pretty much what we have the museum open for. It's all about entertaining people that are flying through Roswell and just making them feel welcome.
It's a great gig for retired folks or folks that, if you're looking for some time and you love to talk and meet people. This is a great job where you get, or great opportunity to volunteer where you get to have fun and hang out and hear. And you're the first line of defense. All these great stories and things that we hear, guess what? The volunteers are the ones that get to hear that and get to be exposed to that. And so it really is a cool treasure.
Oh, by the way, we're free entry, right? You pay so much money to go to museums, but not ours. We can't imagine a world where you would charge money for that. Okay.
And we just want to honor our veterans and our folks that called this place home at some point or another.
We had some elections. Our new president is Sandy Correa.
Congratulations to her.
Poor Ellie Bishop will never escape being the treasurer. Bob Sherman's the secretary. Katie Yates, Bob Donnell, Julie Halverson, Judy Armstrong, Jerry Koffler. Okay, Father
Warwicky. Hold on. I always mess up.
Nowacki. Nowacki.
Yes. He's a great guy.
He is, and he's got a Polish name, and so it's hard, but we love him.
But he is the most positive man I've ever met in my life.
I believe that.
In a good way.
Yeah.
He's such a light in the room when he walks in. He's just a nice guy.
So we have Stephen Miller, Peggy Bolin, of course.
Yes.
Doug Weiser, General Murray, and a new member is Josh Buskin.
Well, welcome, Josh. New member here. But always looking for more volunteers to serve as docents to help out. They can always use another board member or two to get some fresh ideas and fresh faces in the room here a little bit.
Be surprised they let me on the board, so the bar may not be high.
They let me in the rooms too, and I'm like, "What? You made a mistake."
I've got a list of people to thank. That's my big error when I come on your show.
We don't want to ignore these folks because they are the godsends that give of themselves to allow this museum to still exist.
Pioneer Bank, Featherstone Development, Glenn's Furniture, David Petroleum, last year Roswell, Toyota, Xcel Energy, Dr. Phil Cathy, Aerocell, you can always count on them.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the Visitor Center, the Chamber of Commerce, even the UFO Museum sends people our way.
That's great. It's good to see that networking and that synergy, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it is. And of course, the mayor and the airport management. The airport management makes us feel like family out there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it is, because you could surely feel like the outsider pretty quickly.
Yeah. Well, I think they get the importance of what that museum is and why it's here, and I think a lot of people get why, just what big a deal it is and why the impact that has had and why that museum's here. And to be honest, that museum needs to be here so we never forget. We never, ever forget the great work and great things and great people, what they did here at one point or another in Roswell, New Mexico. And that's why that museum needs to be around for long after you and I have left this earth. So.
Yeah. Oh, man, you're getting me all choked up. But it's true. And, one of the things we're able to do for the airport management is that when they have VIPs, they like to bring them out to see the museum. And so we want to do our very best to help them.
Make sure you got your good clothes on and your Sunday church clothes on. Polished up nice.
Yeah, but I'll brush my teeth for them, yeah.
There you go.
Hey, our mission statement is to educate and inspire all generations concerning the history and legacy of Walker Air Force Base. And very importantly, to encourage our youth to explore careers in STEM and aviation.
Please book if you have a youth group, scouts, church, high school groups, and you're interested in doing the STEM stuff, reach out to the museum. If you go to the website www.wafbmuseum.org, you go there, you can learn more, contact. If you'd like to donate, there's a donate now button there. If you'd like to donate finances to keep this museum going, that's a great way. But if you're interested in signing up for an organization to do a tour or to get involved in some of the STEM programs and things, or if you're an individual, maybe you're a student and you pursue an engineering or you're flying or something like that, reach out to the Walker Aviation Museum. They'll get you checked out and give you kind of like a license on that flight simulator. And then on your time and when they have, when they're open free time, you can come in and log hours to your pilot's license here. And you can literally fly almost any airport in the world with any plane in the world with that thing. So.
Yeah, I crashed really, really good in New York City. I think I hit a bagel store.
Oh, the humanity.
Yeah.
But please utilize this. The Walker Aviation Museum is not only your place for entertainment and enjoyment, but for education and enrichment. And who knows, maybe your next step in your path of life will be calling because you made a trip to the museum. So.
And something that people don't really always get is that that's not a dead airport.
No.
That's an intermediate depot that's very active, has many companies. And nationwide, and at our airport especially too, there's a shortage of trained mechanics that have the airframe and power plant certificate from the FAA. If you graduate from high school in New Mexico will pay for your education at a state system school. You can go down to the school at the base here, take the A&P course. Nationwide average starting salary is $65.
You can write your own ticket.
I'm sure it's less here starting, but the point is that that's the factory for our town, the other factory, the one that doesn't make cheese. And there's a chance for you to make a good, strong, solid career. And it all starts with staying in high school and just getting the degree, the diploma.
Put it this way. I know another way you could do it, but it involves you swearing in. And yeah, and go be a crew chief in the United States Air Force, the United States Navy, and then or the Marines. They got planes too. And then you'll get your A&P that way, or you can go to college and do it that way. But one may be cheaper, but you kind of gotta. You're committed to a few things first.
Yeah, and the A&P is not guaranteed from the armed forces.
Exactly. Yeah, they'll give you the knowledge, and you got to go pursue it afterwards.
You still have to go take the course. And exactly. The test. It's kind of amazing that the best mechanics, airframe mechanic, for example, in the Air Force, they're board selected to go fix Air Force One.
Oh yeah, it's a huge deal.
But that guy can't get a job here because he doesn't have an A&P certificate.
Mm-hmm. But he can work on Air Force One.
And here you are in this town that has the course to make it happen. For people who want to travel later and all that, it makes six figures to go to DFW and all that. Yeah, that's wide open.
Mm-hmm.
And for the folks that want to stay here in town and be with their families, that's wide open.
Sure. Well, these companies are hiring all these mechanics and specialists, and so you can set your roots right here in town with your family and make decent money. And
nice.
and if life changes and you want to move, guess what? That career goes with everywhere you go, because wherever there's an airport, there's going to be an airport mechanic needed.
Yeah, like being a teacher.
Yep.
Let me give you an example. We had a pilot come in last month. He made a very minor repair to the aircraft, literally flipped a switch, and the green lights came on.
Mm-hmm.
But he's not an A&P. He's the pilot. They couldn't find an A&P from American on duty that day.
They could sign it off on what they...
Right. They flew one in from Phoenix. There are jobs here.
Yes. And you can really... It is... And I'm telling you, you can make some money. So please, come talk to the Walker Aviation Museum if you're interested in these careers and these types of things. Reach out. They're there. We're about out of time. We got to roll here. But is there anything we want to mention here that we skipped over and get you?
There's one last thing. I have to mention it every single time I come to the radio. Our founding fathers set it up so that we take turns being in charge. They knew we weren't going to agree on everything and on anything. So when they wrote the Constitution, they set it up so that we have our fights in the voting booth.
Mm-hmm.
So long as the last one, from dog catcher to president, was elected through the constitutional process, and that includes with vote for. It's always been here.
Yeah.
Okay. It's sad.
That's not new.
But it's true.
As long as there's been voting fraud.
Right. And so long as the next one is elected through the constitutional process, everything's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is fine. In the short sighted, we don't see that, but historically, when you look over the long sight, it's guaranteed. And that is what makes America special.
Absolutely.
Any country in the world that has suspended their constitution for even a day is never free again, because it's easier and easier and easier next time to do it.
We've had a lot of conflicts and turmoil, but that constitution has survived through all that and has been the guiding point that allows us to navigate through these times. I mean, some of you grew up during the civil rights era, some of you didn't. The things you saw, and you see today's world, what you're dealing with. This is not new. This has been going on long before we were put on the planet, and will be going on long after we're put off. We're off this planet, and things like the Constitution are that lighthouse in the storm, the beacon that we need to guide us through when turmoil. It's easy to live by the Constitution when times are good. When things are going well and you're prosperous, Constitution's amazing. When times are tough is when you really need to rely on that.
That's when it protects us.
Yeah, and that's why it's there. So
we can change it anytime we want.
Yep.
It's just hard enough to change that you don't do it on a whim.
Yeah.
And it's easy enough to change that I don't know how many times we've changed it.
Absolutely. Well, look at the amendments and every time, and sometimes we've changed it and changed it back.
Oh, yeah. That time somebody decided no one should have alcohol.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing that getting out there and casting your vote is worthwhile, just because There are many people in the world who can't.
Yep. And you are belittling all the people that try if you don't take this seriously and do your responsibility. So please, thank you, Ted. Go vote. If you did not early vote, go do it today. There's like 11 different convenience centers around the county. Get there and vote. So, Ted, appreciate the visit. As always, I love our discussions each and every month. So look forward to our next one. And folks, come on out to see the museum. Come out today if you get a chance. If not, come out later this week or whenever you get a chance. But trust me, spend some time in that museum, and you might get lucky. You walk in there when there's a time where one of these kind of legacy families or someone's coming in, and then you get to be a fly on the wall while you hear those stories. And trust me, you'll be so glad you did, because every time I get an opportunity to hear someone that came here and they bring like their baseball jacket, or you know what I mean, they bring a piece of what life was like in Roswell, New Mexico in the 50s or 60s or 40s. It makes me happy. So awesome. Be a part of that. Thank you, Ted.
Thank you, sir.
All right, it is 8:52. Let us play some news and Cowboys report, quick break, and all that. Don't go away.
Also, they could have brought the case in Fulton County, Georgia in January of 2021. Why did they all wait to an election year to have a trial?
The conservative underground meets today on the Sean Hannity Show.
You ever wish your personal safety came with a safety net? Well, it does with Byrna, B-Y-R-N-A. Now, in today's world, protection is paramount. Now, Byrna is a less lethal launcher, and it offers a middle ground. And by the way, it's legal in all 50 states. No permits, no background checks needed. Now, this is not your ordinary defense tool. Byrna is simple and easy to use for everyone. It delivers powerful deterrents like tear gas and kinetic rounds that incapacitate attackers for up to 40 minutes. Now, both law enforcement and everyday civilians trust Byrna, and that's a testament to their effectiveness. Now, remember, safety is about choices. The Byrna launcher gives an alternative to escalation, a chance to choose restraint. Byrna is an American company. Their manufacturing facilities are in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Check out their website, Byrna.com/Hannity. You'll get 10% off. That's BYRNA.com/Hannity. And when you see their videos, they'll blow you away. Because when defense is needed, making the right choice means valuing every life.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. A warm day coming up, and then we cool off quite a bit on Thursday. Might even get a few showers with a low and cold front dropping in. We'll be in the mid-80s for the afternoon high today. Wind will be gusty around 30 miles an hour at times, and we have sunshine. Partly cloudy in mid-40s for the overnight hours, and then scattered showers on Thursday, cloudy and upper 50s. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bob Agnew. A word of advice from the International Monetary Fund to bank officials across Europe.
The IMF says the European Central Bank and other policymakers need to keep interest rates at current elevated levels until they're sure inflation is under control despite sluggish growth. The Washington-based IMF says the cost of underestimating inflation's persistence could be painfully high. It adds the cost could result in another painful round of rate hikes that could rob the economy of a large portion of growth.
That is correspondent Jeremy House reporting. GM's Cruise autonomous vehicle unit is recalling all of its cars to update the software. That's one of them dragged a pedestrian to the side of a San Francisco street. In early October, the crash prompted Cruise to suspend driverless operations nationwide after California regulators found its cars posed a danger to public safety. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Bob Agnew.
Of all the flowers in the world, pansies get a bad rap. Hi, this is Jim Gill with Roswell Seed Company. The name pansies sound delicate and weak, but in reality, pansies are bold and beautiful. When the frost has killed all the other flowers, pansies start blooming and they'll bloom all winter long, which is why you should come see us at Roswell Seed. We have a greenhouse full of colorful pansies ready to brighten up the coldest winter day. So come get your pansies, and remember, if someone calls you a pansy, take it as a compliment.
On air and online, this is Roswell's home for talk radio, KEND Roswell.
And that's going to do it for us for today's show. Thank you so much for allowing us to be a part of your day. Have a great day. If you missed any part, you can always log on to ksvptv.com, click on the Mornings with Mike Winter's channel, find all of our interviews there. Have an amazing day, and we'll talk to you bright and early, 7 a.m. tomorrow. Till then, take care and God bless.